Chapter 1392. It was neither difficult nor easy for Zhu Yu to recover from her current state. The simplest and most direct method was to kill the sky bamboo lineage and snatch the sky bamboo aspect seed. As long as bamboo moon fused with the lost Dao fruit, she would definitely recover. However, Su Yan's forces were weak. It was impossible for him to fight against the heavenly bamboo lineage of an immortal sect. As for the second option, it was to head to the place where the primogenitor had fallen. There, he might be able to obtain a great opportunity. There were two paths to choose from. Su Yan's heart, which had been hanging in the air, finally calmed down. This hope was not too slim for him. I can definitely do it. Su Yan's reply caused the withered bamboo leaf's radiance to gradually dim. It was showing signs of withering completely. Su Yan's expression changed. The giant bamboo could not hold on any longer and was about to wither? Don't worry. An old voice came from the giant bamboo leaf. I will not fall. I will not wither until Zhu Yu stands up again. I am going to fall into a deep sleep now. I am too tired. If I have time, I will find some soul-nourishing tonics to help me continue the power of my remnant soul. Also, you have to leave as soon as possible and head to the undying heavenly domain. It's best if you can blend in with the sky bamboo lineage and excavate some treasures. After the giant bamboo finished speaking, it lost all signs of life. Su Yan relaxed and was in a good mood. He walked out of Sky Bamboo Mountain and informed the Sky Bamboo lineage that the giant bamboo was still alive. It was still breathing. The successive good news made the Sky Bamboo lineage excited. With the human emperor standing here, they had a pillar of support. To prevent the giant bamboo from falling into a deep slumber, Su Yan immediately asked Zhu Yuanqing and the rest to prepare some soul-nourishing herbs. These herbs were not difficult to find. Although they were not very advanced, they were enough to nourish a remnant soul. Su Yan, what are you going to do next? Su Delong was a little reluctant. He always felt that Su Yan would leave at any time. Grandpa Delong, I'm going to repair the black-yellow universe and restore it to its complete state. Maybe it can suppress the dark energy. Su Yan said solemnly. Now, the darkness has no one to control it. It's just a dead thing. Since I've obtained the secrets of the universe's evolution, I should do something for the universe. His deep eyes looked at the distant world. Although the chaos ruins had been restored, the universe's sea of stars was still in a broken state. Even the problem of the devil fog was getting worse. Without delay, Su Yan immediately crossed to the outerverse and started the grand process of repairing the Black Origin universe. Of course, there was another important reason. Xianyu had just fallen, and it wouldn't take long for the Xian people to get the news. When the time came, there would definitely be experts from the Xian people coming to investigate the matter. To prevent the Xian people from attacking the mysterious yellow universe, Su Yan had to speed up. Time flew by and 3 months passed in the blink of an eye. A large number of residents of the mysterious yellow universe lived in the chaos ruins. Everyone in the world was overwhelmed with emotions. Anyone could see a figure walking between the star fields, pushing the broken starry sky and merging it into one. For 3 months, Su Yan had been busy in the universe. It took a lot of effort to repair the broken universe. Of course, during these 3 months, Su Yan also stopped and wrote down a lot of cultivation experiences on the path of life exploration. These were very precious, especially precious. Even the immortal orthodoxies that had been passed down for a long time didn't necessarily have a deeper understanding than Su Yan. Batches of scriptures were compiled into books and kept by Su Yan. A new academy was also established in the universe, the Mysterious Yellow Academy. Its destination was the later progenitor. It had already begun to recruit disciples. This was a grand occasion that affected all the big and small forces in the universe. Uncle Kong issued an order for the Taoist temple to merge into the Mysterious Yellow Academy. Su Yan's incarnation kept watch and guided the experts of the mysterious yellow universe on the path of cultivation day and night. My weapon is broken. Su Yan's second incarnation sighed. His weapon had shattered. His weapon was broken, and he lacked the corresponding materials. It was difficult to reforge it. His third incarnation broke into the land of darkness. It was a very strange journey. Although the darkness was eroding him, it was really difficult to cause substantial harm to him. Could it be that his body had developed some kind of resistance? Could it fight against the darkness? He even found that his bloodline had changed. It was heavy and astonishing, and it was extremely difficult to revive. Could it be because of his bloodline? But what method did he need to use to activate the power of his bloodline? A broken cauldron. On this day, Su Yan found the lost broken cauldron, and even found the immortal iron staff and the inheritance stone of the Chiman chapter. The incomplete seed was still there, as well as some other things that belonged to Su Yan. Su Yan was very surprised that the immortal iron rod had not decayed. One must know that he had found the extreme Tao immortal metal, but the extreme Tao immortal metal was damaged and had lost its value. Then, what material was the immortal iron rod made of? Su Yan was surprised. He found that the broken cauldron was a little different from before. Su Yan tried to activate the broken cauldron. The cauldron shook and flashed with a strange luster. He couldn't see what it was, but the aura was especially grand. The broken cauldron was revived. Although it didn't show too strong, the moment the cauldron shone, it gave birth to a terrifying throughput. Even the boundless devil mist was sucked into it. This made Su Yan pleasantly surprised. A huge amount of devil fog was swallowed into the cauldron, layer after layer. This cauldron seemed to have become a container that could store dark matter. Su Yan laughed heartily. What was the devil fog? It was a disaster that could make the old ancestor-level experts pale. Now that the broken cauldron could absorb the devil fog, it meant that he had gained a terrifying trump card. The broken cauldron absorbed a huge amount of devil fog, and it could be seen with the naked eye that the devil fog drifting in the universe had become much thinner. If I collect it all, won't I be able to solve the disaster? Bamboo Moon was lying on a space-time lounge chair with a relaxed expression. She ate some bright red fruits and smiled happily. She was like a real fairy who had fallen from the moon palace to the mortal world, looking at the busy Su Yan. This space-time rattan chair was specially forged by Su Yan for Bamboo Moon. It could float in space-time. Bamboo Moon had been accompanying Su Yan these days. How can it be that easy? Su Yan shook his head and said, "It's impossible for the broken cauldron to absorb the dark matter. I really want to see how strong a disaster led by someone is." "I think you're itching for a beating again." Bamboo Moon smiled. Although she was now immortal and couldn't enter the path of cultivation, she was very happy these days. She was also very satisfied. Haha, after working for so long, the problem of the mysterious yellow universe has also been solved. On this day, Su Yan's 3 incarnations shone, summoning all the mighty powerhouses in the world to gather in the mysterious Yellow Academy. At night, the mysterious yellow universe was dazzling. Su Yan's 3 incarnations merged into one, and a vast source of divine power surged out, evolving a supreme power, pushing the vast mysterious yellow universe and causing it to begin to rumble. The movement was too big, and it could be said to be quite outrageous. The entire mysterious yellow universe was shining, blazing, and dazzling. All the living beings in the universe saw a person walking through thousands of star field. A pair of big hands pushed the entire starry sky, causing the almost repaired mysterious yellow universe to begin to rebuild. It was like the broken earth was healing, but this was aimed at the entire universe. The moment the broken mysterious yellow universe was reformed, the ancient mysterious yellow universe changed. An infinite source of life was born, and even auspicious signs fell. Overnight, billions of Tao sounds cut through the ancient mysterious yellow universe. Success, the human sovereign has succeeded. Everyone in the universe screamed crazily. Auspicious signs fell from the sky, and billions of layers of purple chi passed through, filling the sky with golden lotuses of the great Tao. Even sweet springs gushed out from the ground, and rain fell from the sky. It was as if a person had achieved the Tao, and even his chickens and dogs had ascended to the heavens. This was the good fortune of the mysterious yellow universe that had experienced a catastrophe, nourishing all living beings. Countless peoples' realms soared, and the old cultivators' lifespans suddenly increased. Countless young cultivators comprehended the great Tao. This was a shocking feat, and the overall strength of the entire universe skyrocketed. The ancient mysterious yellow universe was like a supreme life form, radiating vitality and descending good fortune. Of course, the most terrifying was still the rear progenitor. The ocean-like energy fell down layer by layer, and the powerful beings cried out excitedly. Bathing in the universe's good fortune, they would obtain great opportunities. However, hundreds of powerful beings waited patiently. Although the energy between heaven and earth was vast, this was not what they needed. Soon they caught it. The rear progenitor gave birth to a terrifying path. It was like the supreme path of immortal ascension, and the essence of immortal Tao was about to fall, nourishing the entire mysterious yellow universe. Su Yen was inevitably excited. This used to be the heavenly domain's spacetime, but now it was broken and reformed. The rear progenitor was about to drift out immortal matter. There really is. Then, he laughed loudly. He discovered that some extremely thin matter was born in the space between heaven and earth. The entire rear progenitor became much more majestic, becoming extremely heavy and shocking. Su Yen became increasingly happy. The rear progenitor had changed, becoming the core of the universe. In the future, it would definitely be a place where powerhouses would appear in large numbers. As time passed, the future rear progenitor would definitely affect the vast starry skies. Roar! Su Yen let out a long roar. He broke through. Using the vast energy and the thin, immortal matter, he broke through a small realm. He stepped into the seventh layer of the immortal realm. Su Yen even discovered that he could continue to improve. As long as he had enough energy, he was confident that he could reach the peak of the immortal realm. But Su Yen still gave up. This was because he discovered that many powerful beings had sunk into silence, sinking into the path of life exploration. During these days, Su Yen had been explaining the essence of life to them. Now that the rear progenitor was producing immortal matter, it might really give birth to many immortals. The dragon totem is also absorbing. Su Yen was overjoyed. The dragon totem was extracting an immeasurable amount of life essence. It absorbed for a full day and night before stopping. Another killer move was formed. Su Yen laughed heartily. The universe was changing. This continued for 10 days and 10 nights. Finally, the heavenly blessing came to an end. 10 days and 10 nights was too long. It allowed the universe's sentient beings to obtain a great opportunity. The might of the human sovereign was like the sun in the sky, becoming increasingly terrifying. When the heavenly blessing came to an end, the universe gave birth to a terrifying light that swept towards Su Yen. The resplendent light pierced through Su Yan's forehead, activating the mark between his eyebrows. This light formed a special symbol that was shaped like an inextinguishable light. It was branded into Su Yan's profound yellow mark. Good things really happened one after another. The profound yellow universe was reconstructed, and Su Yen had made a great contribution. The universe gave birth to a source supernatural ability that was branded into the profound yellow origin mark. Path of Plunder. Su Yen was shocked. This was an extremely shocking secret technique. It was as if the life forms of the profound yellow universe were reborn from death. It was a heaven-shaking great supernatural ability that evolved into the Path of Plunder. Chapter 1393. Su Yen took a look at his abhijna. The way of the heaven-destroying sword, the infinity, the secret skill of reincarnation, the primordial force, and the three pure ones in one breath. Among them, heaven-punishing sword path and infinity focused on killing. However, Su Yen had only cultivated the first level of heaven-punishing sword path. The secret reincarnation technique was Su Yan's innate divine powers. Its value was needless to say. Even immortal Tao realm experts would be affected. The primordial force could increase the combat power of all divine powers. One chi into three pure ones was a clone technique. Now, he had obtained another divine powers, the path of robbery. Su Yen naturally valued the divine powers nurtured by the universe of Xianhuang. However, it was difficult to comprehend. This divine powers did not look like a divine powers. Instead, it looked like a supreme scripture. Path of robbery? Su Yen murmured. He began to comprehend this secret skill. He felt that this secret skill was extraordinary. It contained the aura of myriad calamities. Time flew by. Another half a year passed. It had been a year since Su Yen was resurrected. On this day, Su Yen gazed into the distance at the brilliant starry sky. "Child, are you leaving?" Su Dalong's face was full of reluctance. He felt that Su Yen was about to leave. He had also gone to the strongest training ground. However, the old Taoist had told Su Yen that the mysterious path could only be opened once every 10 years. If Su Yen wanted to leave, he would have to wait for the 10 years to be up. Su Yen was extremely regretful that he would have to wait for many years. However, Su Yen felt that there was a path that might be able to do it. "Grandpa Delong." Su Yen stood up and said, "I'll have to leave sooner or later. If I stay here, my strength will improve slower. The Xianhuang calamity may have ended, but it will come again in the future. I have to go out and become stronger. And there are some grudges that I have to settle." Su Yan's eyes emitted a cold light. "It's good that you've decided. Go and find a way to leave. If it doesn't work, it's fine to wait for a few years." Although Su Dalong was reluctant, he wouldn't urge him to stay. Su Yen still had a long way to go. Su Yen pondered. He could not wait too long. Now that the Emperor Road had left the black-yellow universe, it was very likely that the Emperor Road had already opened. Therefore, Su Yen had to head to the undying heavenly domain as soon as possible to participate in the Emperor Road contest. "They're here. They're finally here. I've been waiting for a long time." At this moment, Su Yan's eyes were like unsheathed heavenly swords as he stared into space outside the realm. He could sense the auras of the Xian people's experts surging in this direction. As soon as the immortal rain fell, the Xian people stirred up quite a storm. As one of the guardians of the Xian people, how did he die? Darkness was born in the Xianhuang universe, which was a source of calamity. The Xian people did not want to provoke it, so they did not reopen the teleportation formation at all. They just let the strong ones follow the coordinates and cross over. They suffered a lot along the way, but when they arrived at their destination, they all fell silent. The Xianhuang universe was shrouded in a layer of darkness. What happened? The Xianhuang universe has turned into darkness. It won't exist anymore. They frowned. Who killed Xian Yugang? They could not find any clues. As for the emperor ranking, it had completely withered. There was no hope for Su Yen to be resurrected. The Xianhuang lineage has been completely destroyed, but there are still a few survivors. This group of people looked cold. In recent years, some of the Xian people's businesses had been seriously damaged, and they were wiped out one after another. At first, they suspected that it was done by an enemy force. However, when they found some clues, they were shocked. A group of immortals from the Xianhuang universe had actually come to the undying heavenly domain and caused serious damage to some of the Xian people's businesses. This made the Xian people furious. What kind of race were they? An immortal sect that had been passed down for hundreds of millions of years. However, a few insignificant immortals dared to pluck the hair of a big shot. It was ridiculous. The Xian people sent out powerhouses to encircle and suppress them, but they failed. Bao Kai and the others had disappeared without a trace. It doesn't matter, someone said coldly, they're just a few small fries. Is it already? The strongest person in the Xian Huang universe, Su Yan, has fallen. The rest are nothing to worry about. That's right. It's difficult for them to create a storm in the Emperor Road. Another woman sneered. Let's collect information as soon as possible and leave. The Emperor Road has probably opened. If we go back late, we won't be able to catch up. That's right. Poor Xian Huang universe. The former heavenly domain's spacetime has turned into ashes. They stared at the Xian Huang universe with cold eyes. Darkness had shrouded the entire spacetime. If it were not for the seal, the Xian Huang universe would have turned into ashes. This was Su Yan's setup. It had deceived the Xian people's powerhouses. Only by doing this could the Xian people completely give up and give the Xian Huang universe a chance to grow stronger. They stayed here for a few days before finally leaving. Su Yan also relaxed. Big things happened one after another. Are we leaving? Bamboo Moon stood next to Su Yan. Her clothes fluttered in the wind. Her skin was snow white. Under the light of the snow mountain, she looked even more holy and flawless. The two of them stood on the top of the snow mountain, like a pair of immortal couples. It's time to go. Su Yan nodded and then said, Before we leave, there's one more thing that must be done. Before leaving, Su Yan looked at the snow mountain. He wanted to open the heavenly coffin of the snow mountain and see what was inside, but he didn't get anything. This thing was really like a mystery. Su Yan didn't plan to take it away. Now that the Xian Huang universe had changed so much, it was difficult for Su Yan to reach the Taoist temple in a short time. Although the Taoist temple had moved and integrated into the Xian Huang Academy, there were still many old cultivators in the ruins of the temple. Even Fairy Zixia was here. Are you going to take Fairy Zixia with you? Bamboo Moon was a little surprised. These days, she and Fairy Zixia had become closer. Although Fairy Zixia had forgotten everything, she vaguely remembered something in the past year. You're here. Fairy Zixia saw Su Yan and Su Yan. Although she still looked unhappy, her situation was much better than before. She was wearing a purple dress and carrying a purple sword embryo on her back. She looked valiant, like a heroine. Fairy Zixia, I'll help you find a master. Are you willing to go and worship him? Su Yan asked. Hearing this, Fairy Zixia was confused. Didn't you say that my master is the old village chief of the Zhang family village? Why are you helping me find a master? If the old village chief knew that you'd become a disciple of a powerful master, he would be very happy. Su Yan laughed. It didn't matter how many masters he had. The most important thing was whether Fairy Zixia had the opportunity. Come with me. Su Yan left with Fairy Zixia. These days, he had found many sword geniuses, but Su Yan was still not satisfied. In the end, Su Yan thought of Fairy Zixia. He couldn't help but think that Fairy Zixia might be the most suitable, because she couldn't remember any skills or cultivation scriptures at all. She was like a natural-born person. Who else could be more suitable than her? Moreover, Su Yan didn't want to take Fairy Zixia away. Her problem hadn't been solved. If she really went with him to the undying heavenly domain and met with an accident on the way, it would be a big problem. Once again, Su Yan felt a lot of emotions. Back then, he had obtained a great opportunity here. At the same time, he began to comprehend the second part of the heaven-destroying sword path, the supreme inheritance. The first part, immortal slaying with a sword. The second part, immortal slaying with a sword. What a domineering supreme art. Su Yan really couldn't believe it. Could it be that he could kill an immortal Dao realm master with a single sword? Of course, Su Yan was still a long way from mastering it. Moreover, he didn't have a suitable weapon. In short, Su Yen called the skeleton a master with remarkable abilities. If he really became his disciple, it would be a heaven-defying opportunity. Very soon, they arrived at the dilapidated Dao platform and saw the Dao platform. Looking at the scattered bones, Fairy Zixia stammered, "Don't tell me you want me to worship him as my master." This Bamboo Moon was also shocked. It was just a pile of bones. Why did Su Yen bring them here? Could it be that there was someone else in this mysterious space? Don't be rude. Su Yen glared at Fairy Zixia. He was really worried that she would anger the skeleton. The skeleton's temperament was very strange. If he drove them out, they wouldn't be able to get the supreme inheritance. Fairy Zixia pursed her lips. She felt wronged, but she didn't say anything else. "Senior, I followed your instructions and brought a disciple. Are you satisfied?" Su Yen bowed respectfully to the skeleton on the platform. Bamboo Moon's face was full of doubts. The skeleton was still alive? Was it still alive? After a while, the skeleton on the Dao platform suddenly began to move. 2 rays of light shot out from its eye sockets and stared at the woman in purple. Su Yen was also nervous. If they failed, he really didn't know who to let in. After all, Baokai and the others had left. There was really no master suitable to cultivate the sword Dao in the bound of universe. Suddenly, a large skeletal hand moved and waved at the purple-clothed woman. "There's hope." Su Yen was secretly happy. Fairy Zixia had no room to resist and was directly taken to the platform. Standing on the platform, the purple-clothed woman's body was dazzling. She seemed to have a unique spiritual physique that emitted purple light. Her entire body was sparkling and translucent, untainted by the mortal world. She was like an immortal body, pure and untainted. Su Yen was keenly aware that the skeleton was exuding an ancient spiritual will. This was the fluctuation of his emotions. The joy in Su Yan's heart grew. Maybe Zixia Fairy could really succeed. "This physique," he murmured. "It's like a natural-born body." Su Yen was shocked. A natural-born creature would have monstrous magic power when they were born, and there would be few opponents in the same realm. But how could Fairy Zixia have such a physique? In fact, Su Yen was really surprised that Fairy Zixia could survive. After all, she was dead, and her body was still buried in the Zhang family village. But what was the reason that allowed Zixia Fairy to survive? Could it be? Su Yen suddenly trembled and thought of some special soil. Could it be because of that soil? "Senior, what do you think of her aptitude?" Su Yen couldn't wait to ask. "Not simple." The skeleton nodded and said, "This kind of physique is very rare. It's pure and flawless, suitable for walking on any path. She's a good seedling for cultivation." The more the skeleton looked, the more satisfied he was. Fairy Zixia made threatening gestures and said, "Hey, skeleton, are you so powerful? Can you accept me as your disciple? What can you teach me?" Su Yen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. The skeleton was also amused. His white bone hand waved again, and moved Fairy Zixia out of the platform. Unlike the previous tests for Su Yen, one sword embryo after another fell from the sky. 4 sword embryos, suspended in the void, trapped Fairy Zixia. Every single sword embryo surged with an unparalleled wave of energy. "This is..." Su Yen was shocked. He stared at the 4 sword embryos. Each sword embryo surged with invisible sword light. He felt that if they slashed his body, it would be like cutting tofu, directly cutting him in half. "This treatment is really different." Su Yen scratched his head and joked. His eyes were burning as he looked at the 4 sword embryos. "Her path is different from the sword path I taught you," the skeleton said indifferently. "You walk your own path. I won't interfere. You brought me a disciple in this battle. You and I are even." Su Yen smiled bitterly. Was it necessary to draw the line so clearly? "Little brother, who are your parents?" The skeleton couldn't help but ask. Although he didn't ask about worldly affairs and only wanted to continue his orthodoxy, Su Yen really gave him a lot of surprises. Chapter 1394. Su Yen frowned. He lowered his head slightly and quietly clenched his fist. Bamboo Moon could not help but hold Su Yan's arm. She knew that Su Yan did not have parents and could not help but ask, "Elder, do you know Su Yan's parents? What do you want to say?" Su Yan's tone was low. "I'm just curious." The skeleton suppressed the urge to get to the bottom of the matter. He felt that Su Yan was not simple. He increasingly felt that he could not see through this person. Perhaps he would really achieve great things in the future. "I don't know. I hope Elder can enlighten me." Su Yen shook his head slightly. He always felt that the skeleton knew something and wanted to figure it out. "Forget it." The skeleton's old voice came out. "The world is vast and there are many outstanding people. You are not weak now. In the future, when you travel the world, remember to be careful. Do not reveal any information or inheritance of the heaven-destroying sword principle." Suddenly, this unique space-time fell into chaos. The scene in front of Su Yen also blurred. Then he found that everything in front of him had disappeared. It turned into a streamer and flashed away. It was as if this place did not exist at all. This elder's means are unfathomable. Why didn't he help the black-yellow universe? Bamboo Moon was a little resentful. The 4 sword embryos were strong enough. If he could help Su Yen and the others, they would not have suffered. Hearing this, Su Yen said, "Bamboo Moon, this elder is not an expert of our black-yellow universe. If he was, I would have come to ask for help." "Is he an outsider like the Lord of the Ancestral Hall?" Bamboo Moon was shocked. "No, his era of origin is very ancient. It is so ancient that it is difficult to trace back. He once said that the black-yellow universe had not been born when he existed. I thought his words were too outrageous and did not believe him. However, ever since I cultivated the extreme art he passed down to me, perhaps he really is extraordinary. It really is as he said, the origin of time is truly hard to understand." When Su Yan's words fell, Bamboo Moon was dumbfounded. Everyone in the world would think that they were crazy. The existence of the mysterious yellow universe could not be verified. But now, Su Yen said that the universe had not yet been born when the skeleton existed? Wasn't this too ridiculous? "Whatever, let's go." Su Yen held Bamboo Moon's hand, and the two of them went to the Taoist temple again. This time, Su Yen didn't alert anyone. He directly went to the ancient road where Fairy Violet Glow was sleeping. Su Yen wondered if it was the soil of the ancient road that allowed Zixia Fairy to come back to life. The purple-clothed woman in the past definitely didn't know what soil was. She only knew that soil could preserve a person's body from decaying. So now, Zixia Fairy's resurrection must have a great deal to do with the soil. What's so special about this? Bamboo Moon fiddled with the soil on the ground. Su Yen had been looking at it for a long time, pondering the origin of the soil. The soil was easy to crush, but it couldn't be crushed into powder. It could heal on its own. It was very strange. Su Yen even tried to absorb the energy of the soil, but found that the soil was a hollow substance. This made Su Yen think that it was really strange. At this time, Su Yan's whole body drilled into the soil, which made Bamboo Moon speechless. What was he doing? Su Yen crawled up again with a strange expression on his face. What was hidden in the sand? He didn't think there was anything special about the soil. He thought it was just ordinary sand. "Did you see anything?" Bamboo Moon asked. Su Yen shook his head and said, "No, but I think it's not simple. This seems to be the secret of Zixia Fairy's resurrection." Bamboo Moon was shocked. This thing was so amazing. Could it have the effect of resurrection? Could it be an ultimate treasure comparable to the reincarnation elixir? Su Yen waved his sleeves and took out batch after batch of sand. Although the amount of sand was limited, it was still not enough. Although there were limited grains, there were still hundreds of millions of them. Su Yen was ready to pack up the soil and take it away, but he felt that this thing was too precious. What if he lost it? He thought for a while and only took a small bag. The rest was left here. He was also just in case. After all, he was going to take an adventure. He had to leave the black-yellow universe by another way. Who knew what he would encounter on the way? We should go. Su Yen took a deep breath and his eyes returned to calmness. He looked in the direction of the abyss. A few days ago, he went to some places to find a way out. He went to the chaotic valley and the sealed heaven territory, but he didn't find a way out. In the end, Su Yen came to the area where the Emperor's Road used to be. Although the Emperor's Road had left, he found that there was a terrible trace of the Emperor's Road in the spacetime where it used to be. Su Yen was ready to follow the trace left by the Emperor's Road and leave the black-yellow universe. He felt that this path was feasible. Of course, even if it didn't work, he could still return to the black-yellow universe along the Emperor's Road. It's time to go, Bamboo Moon. Go and say goodbye to your family, Su Yen said to her. Hearing this, Bamboo Moon shook her head slightly and said, "It's better not. It's useless to be sad. Besides, the people in the universe don't know about your departure. If the family members leak it out, I'm afraid it will have a big impact. There will be some dangers along the way. I don't know if I can protect you." Su Yen smiled. He reached out his hand and tucked the hair on her forehead. "Don't take the risk. If it doesn't work, we will come back. Didn't the gatekeeper of the strongest trial ground say that? That path will open in a few more years." Zhu Yu chuckled. Her starry eyes shone with brilliance. "Okay. Try not to take the risk. Let's give it a try first." Su Yen also knew that there was a safe road. However, he still had to wait. It wasn't just a few years. It was 7 or 8 years. It was a long time. He didn't want to miss these golden years of cultivation. According to the current situation, he would fight with Xian Hongda. The disciples cultivated by the major immortal sects were all waiting for the Emperor's Road to open. Some geniuses had sealed themselves for 1,000,000 years just for the Emperor's Road. This showed that the Emperor's Road was very important. They were willing to wait for 1,000,000 years. Now, Su Yen was cultivating at the 7th heaven of the immortal realm. However, he knew that he still had a long way to go in the immortal realm. After all, only when he stepped into the absolute realm could he touch the immortal path. However, now that all the sky prides in the world had touched the immortal path, Su Yen had to hurry up. He could feel that the further he went in the immortal realm, the harder it was to cultivate. Without a large amount of immortal substance to replenish his energy, it was impossible. Boom! All of a sudden, a strange sound was heard. It was very loud. Su Yen looked into the outer space. He vaguely caught an extremely majestic aura being released. He didn't know where it came from. "Did you hear that?" Bamboo Moon was stunned. She also felt it. Su Yan's pupils suddenly widened and blazed with boundless brilliance. Although it was difficult for him to pry into the direction of the source, Su Yen vaguely felt that a path had really opened. "The Emperor's Road has opened." Su Yen gasped. How terrifying was the Emperor's Road! Its influence even affected the bound of universe. This was too ridiculous. Boom! The storm caused by the immortal heavenly domain was the most shocking. The Emperor's Road had opened. The storm surged, spreading from one continent to another. Soon, it affected tens of thousands of continents. Even the void spacetime began to tremble. Countless large and small universes began to shine. Powerful individuals stood out from all of them, their emotions surging. The Emperor's Road had opened. The whole world was shaken. Billions of sky prides roared. The overlords who had been waiting for a long time roared. They emitted a monstrous battle intent. They wanted to fight for the Emperor's Road. In the immortal heavenly domain, all the major immortal sects had their own outstanding talent. The world was in chaos. The appearance of the Emperor's Road had ignited the strongest storm that had been brewing for 1,000,000 years. This battle could be said to be the most intense battle. After all, the opening of the Emperor's Road had been delayed for 1,000,000 years. During this time, it should have opened more than 10 times. Once the storm of the Emperor's Road was opened, it would be a dazzling battle. It would be difficult to enter the top 10,000 list. In the entire immortal heavenly domain, in the vast continents, there were battle stages that appeared in the sky. This was a battle that affected the whole universe. It was so grand that only the Emperor's Road could bear it. Only the Emperor's Road could complete such a shocking feat. After all, the final battle would be to choose the strongest cultivators in the universe. It would be a terrifying battle. Moreover, those who could ascend the battle stage and defeat the invincible would be nominated for the Emperor's Road. There were many outstanding cultivators in the universe. It was difficult to be nominated for the Emperor's Road. However, the universe was so vast. In the most prosperous era, there were hundreds of thousands of people who were nominated for the Emperor's Road. In this generation, they felt that it was no less than 1 million people who would be nominated for the Emperor's Road. This was a supreme battle that was extremely brilliant and glorious. However, it was hard to imagine what kind of battle would take place between the overlords who were nominated for the Emperor's Road. It could be called a legend. The Emperor's Road. That person is still here. He's obviously dead. It's nothing. When the Emperor's Road is updated, that person will disappear eventually. Many people looked at the only name on the Emperor's Road and were speechless. Su Yen was still here, but the various clans had confirmed that he had died in battle. Su Yen. Interesting. He's the one who helped me achieve my destiny. I really want to meet him. Within the celestial race, terrifying fluctuations spread out one after another, causing the souls of the nearby experts to tremble and their chi and blood to tremble. Their faces lost color. Immortal Clan's most outstanding expert appeared in this world, glorious beyond compare. Even though he was an undying being, he was as powerful as a true immortal. The fluctuations that spread from his body were difficult for cultivators of the same cultivation realm to endure. They had to kneel down and worship. What a terrifying energy! The older generation trembled in fear. They felt that the most outstanding young man of the Xian people had such a strong energy and blood. It was even more terrifying than a true dragon. A group of elders of the Xian people walked out with smiles on their faces. Even without the black substance, the most outstanding young man of the Xian people had fought with an immortal realm expert. After entering the immortal realm, he became famous and was named as one of the top 10 existences. The appearance of the Emperor's Road battle stage stirred up a huge storm. Xianwang Universe, the starting point of the Emperor's Road. In the past, the Xianwang territory was full of myths and legends. Now, Su Yen was standing on the vague traces of the Emperor's Road. He was on his way to fight for supremacy. Chapter 1395. The bound of universe was no longer a big deal. With Bamboo Moon by his side, Su Yen no longer had anything to worry about. He wanted to leave along the Emperor Road and go to the undying heavenly domain to find Frost and the others. He also wanted to visit the Sky Bamboo faction and fight for Bamboo Moon. A man and a woman rushed towards the Emperor Road together. Although the Emperor Road's departure gate had already left, the Emperor Road's influence was too strong. Even a blurry road had left a deep mark in the void. The Emperor Road was like a road that pierced through the vast void. Following it, one could reach the undying heavenly domain. They gradually left behind footprints and disappeared into the bound of universe. They had already rushed into the void. It was a pity that Su Yen did not have a powerful battleship. Otherwise, he could rely on the battleship to travel through the void. During these days, Su Yen had also tried the influence of the void. It was especially shocking. Even with his combat strength, he could not withstand it for a long time. Therefore, if he wanted to rush out, the Emperor Road was his first choice. Although the traces of the Emperor Road are isolated, the void is too shocking. Zhu Yu's heart pounded. She was wearing a snow-white dress, making her look like a fairy from the Moon Palace, graceful and charming. Her dress was very special, it was specially made for her by Su Yan. The entire dress was made from time and space crystal. Moreover, Su Yan had inscribed hundreds of millions of formation marks on the dress. This was something that he had painstakingly spent nearly half a year to complete. With the defensive power of the white dress, it was difficult for an average immortal expert to break through in a short time. Moreover, if there was any threat, the white dress would automatically revive and block out any threat. Although Bamboo Moon was just a mortal now, with the white dress, she had extraordinary power. However, even with the dress, Bamboo Moon could still vaguely sense the influence of the void. A blurry road. It was very big and wide. It extended from the void. No one knew how far it extended. Su Yan walked on the blurry Emperor Road. He could see that the traces of the Emperor Road would not last for long. Once it was swallowed by the void, this road would never appear again. A man and a woman walked side by side. Their speed was neither fast nor slow. On the indistinct Emperor Road, laughter echoed from time to time. It was as if they had endless things to say. Of course, their speed was also very fast. After traveling for 3 days and 3 nights, they still couldn't see the end. Su Yan didn't know how far he had walked. Time passed day after day. Su Yan was getting anxious. He did not know how long the Emperor Road's battle platform would last. He was worried that he would miss it. Moreover, his understanding of the Emperor Road's rules was limited. Look, there's a battle stage. Bamboo Moon's starry eyes sparkled as she gazed at a giant battle platform floating in the void. This battle stage was almost exactly the same as the battle stage where Su Yan had killed Xian Hongda. This caused Su Yan's expression to change. He didn't expect to encounter a battle stage here. They continued to walk for a few more days. Along the way, they encountered more than 10 battle stages floating in the void. The powerful void energy couldn't even swallow the battle stages. Perhaps there are many battle stages on this road. People can go there to fight for supremacy and be listed on the Emperor board. Unfortunately, the Xianwang Heavenly Region has already transformed. The entrance to the Emperor Road is no longer here. Moreover, no one cares about these battle stages. Su Yan thought to himself. If someone went up to the battle stage, it would be awkward if they didn't have a worthy opponent. Moreover, even if they had a worthy opponent, whether they could be listed on the Emperor board was another problem. Therefore, he guessed that even some of the orthodoxies in the large and small universes in the void would try to find a way to enter the undying heavenly region to participate in the battle. On this day, Su Yan's heart skipped a beat. He saw the distant void and sensed the fluctuations of life in the universe. Without a doubt, he had discovered a universe with life similar to the Xianwang Heavenly Region with a cultivation environment. Unfortunately, the blurry Emperor Road was a little far away. Su Yan wouldn't take the risk to explore it. He just passed by in a hurry. A month had passed, and they still hadn't reached the end of the Emperor Road. However, Su Yan's face darkened. The Emperor Road was narrowing. They continued to walk for another day. The Emperor Road was getting narrower. When he looked into the distance, he realized that the Emperor Road had disappeared. In front of him was a vast void. It was lonely and cold, and it made one's soul tremble. Su Yan, you promised me that you wouldn't take the risk. Bamboo Moon held Su Yan's arm. She was afraid that he would act recklessly. She said softly, "We have no reason to take the risk. The void is very strong. I'm afraid that even immortal Tao experts can't survive for a long time." "I know. Moreover, you're by my side. How can I bear to let you take the risk with me?" Su Yan said with a smile. Bamboo Moon also smiled knowingly. Her beautiful eyes flashed as she looked around. She was a little surprised. She pointed into the distance and said, "There are some crushed stones." Su Yan had already seen them. He had been observing them. These crushed stones were not simple. They could drift in the void for a long time. The influence of the void is too strong. Even my primordial spirit energy can't see too much. Su Yen hesitated for a while and said, I want to go and check it out. If there's no path, we can go back directly. Bamboo Moon nodded. They had already come so far. It was no big deal to take a little risk. Moreover, they were not far from the place where the crushed stones were drifting. Boom! Su Yen held Bamboo Moon's waist and jumped out of the blurry Emperor Road. The moment the two of them rushed into the void, they encountered a terrible crushing force. They were invaded by the void. In an instant, they showed signs of withering and dying. However, Su Yen was already prepared. On the way here, he had also forged a void armor that could isolate them from the crushing force of the void. Su Yan's speed was very fast. When he approached the place where the crushed stones were drifting, he found that there were still many crushed stones in the distance. Su Yen was shocked. He continued to explore. After traveling for almost 2 hours, he was shocked. A path appeared in the dark and cold void in front of them. This path was very wide, grand, and ancient. It emitted a mysterious wave that isolated them from the erosion of the void. What is this? Su Yen was shocked. Stepping on the ancient path, he could see no end. However, he could smell the scent of war. It was not simple. A mysterious path appeared in the void of time and space. It was extremely huge and vast. Bamboo Moon was confused. They walked for a day and a night, but they did not see any living creatures. The ancient path's aura was cold and gloomy. There was a strong smell of blood. Along the way they found many skeletons. What kind of path was this? What realm did it lead to? Boom! All of a sudden there was a loud explosion. Su Yan's eyes turned cold as he caught a murderous aura. He looked forward, seeing powerful cultivators appear one after another. They were like gods and devils, their auras cold and ruthless. They rode on powerful ancient beast mounts. The 3 great experts rode on their mounts, creating thunderous sounds that shook the heavens and the earth. They harbor malice. Bamboo Moon's lily-white hands immediately clenched. She even discovered that the 3 great experts' malice originated from her. They really are courting death. Su Yen sneered. With Bamboo Moon's beauty, it wasn't strange for her to attract others' attention. However, the 3 great experts wanted to capture Bamboo Moon. Su Yan's heart was already surging with killing intent. Dong dong dong. The 3 great ancient beasts stepped on the ancient path, rushing towards Bamboo Moon. Moreover, along the way they spoke, but their words were ancient, unknown what they were saying. It was clear that they came from other universes. Finally, the tallest man, who was as cold as a god, said in a sonorous voice, "Scram, this woman is my spoils of war." The 3 great experts soared through the sky, their mounts roaring continuously. For a moment the scene here was extremely shocking. The 3 great experts swallowed the starry sky, their mounts stomping on the ancient path, causing it to shake. They pounced fiercely, shattering the void. Boom! Suddenly, Su Yen waved his palm and chopped forward. The seemingly calm palm was actually boundlessly terrifying. It was like an immortal sword tearing apart the universe. It was so fast that it was difficult for people to think. It was difficult to follow. Just as the other 2 experts reacted, the leader of the Godfiend experts had his head cut off by Su Yen. Their expressions changed. They were terrified and trembling. Who was this person? He was ridiculously strong. Could he be an undying overlord? But why would an undying overlord follow this path to the undying heavenly domain? Was there no one to receive him? Explain your origins clearly, and I can spare your lives. Su Yen shouted coldly. His eyes were cold, and a powerful aura surged out in all directions, shaking the ancient path. His chi and blood were too vigorous, drowning the entire ancient path. He was like a supreme overlord who ruled the world. The 2 experts hesitated. Their comrade had been killed, and it was already a blood feud. Should they surrender? Su Yan's black hair danced in the wind. He was cold and emotionless. He attacked directly, punching out with a peerless fist imprint, smashing through the chest of the second expert and blasting through half of his body. "I'll talk." The third expert was scared silly. He knelt down and kowtowed. This person was too strong, and his ferocious aura was overflowing. He was definitely an undying overlord. This path, to be precise, was a path that connected the Xianwang heavenly domain and the undying heavenly domain. Of course, it wasn't the only path. 1,000,000 years ago, these ancient paths were extremely prosperous. The big and small universes in the void would also use this path to travel between the two heavenly domains. This was also an important path for trade. However, since the decline of the Xianwang heavenly domain, this path was also cut off. There was no one to control it, and there were no enforcers. Therefore, it became extremely bloody and dark. After all, many experts from the big and small universes wanted to use this path to reach the undying heavenly domain. This also led to many restless experts guarding this path, hunting the experts and robbing them of their treasures. However, for someone of Su Yan's strength, there was no need for him to go through this bloody path. After all, in the void, many prosperous universes were supported by immortal sections. Once an undying expert with the potential to become an overlord was born, there would be experts from the immortal sects coming to receive them and send them to the Tao court to further their studies. "So that's how it is," Bamboo Moon murmured. "The undying heavenly domain was like a big country, and the big and small universes were like small countries. Almost all of them were vassals of the immortal sections." Su Yan sent the cultivator flying with a kick, kicking him out of the ancient road. "Whether you can live or not, it will depend on your luck." Su Yan's eyes stared into the distance and said with a smile, "Although you can't leave, you are right. As long as you can make it to the end, you will be able to reach the undying heavenly domain." A bloody and cruel journey had begun. Along the way, Su Yan saw many strange creatures, as well as the sinister methods of the hunters. He also saw the mercenaries on the ancient path. It was a bloody and dark path. There was no order, and only the strong could kill their way out. For half a year, Su Yan had lost count of how many experts he had killed and even encountered some terrifying enemies. However, the more he fought, the stronger he became. No one could stop Su Yan from going to the undying heavenly domain. More and more experts fell under his feet. The outside world is even crueler than the bound of universe. Bamboo Moon felt a chill in her heart. She did not know how many people had died on this path. After all, there was no order, only blood and darkness. Even the Universe King who ruled a small universe was killed by Su Yan. It must be because the Emperor Road is too cruel. Everyone wants to fight for it. Su Yan's aura was cold and powerful. Although he was releasing powerful energy, there were not many troubles along the way. Most people came for the treasures on them. "I've finally reached the end. Undying heavenly domain, here I come." Su Yan took a deep breath. He had reached the end of the path, but when he looked into the distance again, Su Yan vaguely caught an extremely majestic life force. He was already close to the undying heavenly domain, the strongest heavenly domain in the vast void. It was the only heavenly domain in the universe. This was a heavenly domain that had existed for billions of years. He wanted to witness the glory of this place. Chapter 1396. Su Yan was about to step into the 8th level of the immortal realm. Based on his cultivation speed, it was already ridiculous. Generally speaking, each level of the immortal realm would take more than 10 years. Even the disciples of immortal sects wouldn't be able to cultivate that fast. Moreover, the further one progressed, the more immortal energy they would need. Every level of the immortal realm would increase one's strength exponentially. One could only imagine how frightening Su Yan's current strength would be after his battle prowess had doubled. In the past half a year, he had killed many enemies on the blood path. However, his harvest was very low. He had only obtained a few hundred stalks of immortal supreme herbs. This also showed that the cultivation environment of the greater and lesser cosmos couldn't be compared to the immortal heavenly domain. Moreover, it would be strange if an expert who relied on killing the passers-by on the blood path could be rich. At this moment, Su Yan's footsteps came to a halt. He tilted his head slightly and looked at a silver-haired old woman who was staring at him from a distance. Su Yan felt a sense of danger. The silver-haired old woman was faintly discernible, releasing a vague, immortal might. Su Yan's heart trembled. This was an immortal Tao realm expert. This was the first time he had met such an existence on the blood path. Su Yan only took a glance and retracted his gaze. He walked forward with Bamboo Moon. The silver-haired old woman was surprised. Looking at Su Yan's back view, she said softly, "Little brother, come and have a chat." Su Yan frowned. He wasn't afraid of immortal Tao realm expert. Just the devil mist alone was enough to make her despair. He said indifferently, "Senior, is there anything I can help you with?" "Little brother, you're so impressive." The silver-haired old woman wasn't angry. Her face was full of praise. After all, it wasn't easy to maintain one's composure in front of a true immortal. She said, "My family's young miss wants to meet you." "Your family's young miss?" Su Yan was surprised. To have an immortal Tao realm expert as a helper, could she be an expert from an immortal sect? He had a certain understanding of the immortal heavenly domain after his days on the blood path. In the undying heavenly region, the Tao elements of the immortal sects were known as the hegemons of the world. These Tao elements were all very impressive, capable of nurturing true immortal realm experts and even supreme overlord. Moreover, the immortal sects had many vassals from the great cosmos of the void, providing them with the strongest seeds to further their studies. Therefore, these immortal sects and Taoist orthodoxies, since ancient times, it was almost impossible for them to decline. Seeing Su Yan turn around, the silver-haired old woman also tilted her body, and a figure flashed behind her. Even Bamboo Moon was slightly stunned. She was like a fairy that had descended from the heavens. Even she was stunned. She was like a fairy that had gracefully arrived from a painting. The scene was quite breathtaking. Her posture was peerless, and her pair of snow-white jade-like feet flickered with a sparkling luster, adding to her charm. Bamboo Moon was a dignified and elegant beauty, but this woman was a national beauty with a noble air, a glory that stood above all mortals. Su Yan's heart skipped a beat, not because of the appearance of this woman, but because of her aura. Vaguely, Su Yan caught a glimpse of a boundless divine might, as though the entire spacetime had been revived along with her. This pressure was extremely strong, and once it was unleashed, it would be incomparably terrifying. What a strong physique! Su Yan's expression changed. His invincible golden body had yet to reach the small success stage, and he had no idea how he could fight against this woman. Suddenly, the invincible golden body erupted, and he went all out. Most probably, it would be extremely difficult to suppress her. As long as her physique was too strong, she would be able to summon the cries of 10,000 Daos, fusing her body with the Tao. Xia Kunlun, this woman spoke, and her voice was pleasant to the ears. There was a hint of magnetism in her voice, and it was very pleasant to the ears. "Miss knows of me?" Su Yan was surprised. Could it be that he had attracted her attention after killing so many people in the path of blood? "That's right." The woman nodded slightly and said indifferently, "In the past few days I've noticed that your strength is extraordinary and you're decisive in killing. I admire you very much." "Miss, you're too kind." Su Yan cupped his hands and said, "May I know what you want to discuss with me?" "I'm from the Sovereign sect." Her words surprised Su Yan. In the past few days, he had learned that the Sovereign sect was a famous immortal sect, and its strength was almost on par with the Xian people. It was one of the strongest immortal sects in the immortal heavenly domain. "Like thunder in my ears," Su Yan replied. Since she wasn't willing to say her name, Su Yen didn't ask any further. Little brother, don't you understand what she means? The silver-haired old woman couldn't help but ask. She had also observed Su Yen for a period of time, and she found him to be extraordinary. He was a qualified warrior, and he was qualified to follow the young miss. Su Yen paused for a moment and then he said, "If the young miss wants to recruit me, then I'm really sorry. I have quite a lot of trouble on me. Goodbye." Su Yen pulled Bamboo Moon and left. It was impossible for him to stay under someone else's roof. Even though the sovereign sect was very strong, it was an immortal sect. The silver-haired old woman was astonished, and she felt that she had misheard. What kind of power was the sovereign sect? So long as they spread the word, countless geniuses would rush over to join the sovereign sect. For supreme sects like them, the conditions for recruiting disciples were extremely harsh. However, Su Yen had directly refused. The silver-haired old woman didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Could it be that he didn't know how great of a fortuitous encounter this was? "My young miss is the holy daughter of the sovereign sect." The silver-haired old woman was slightly displeased and spoke. She stared at Su Yen as well, and she silently waited for Su Yen to turn around. However, she was still stunned because Su Yen hadn't turned around. The sovereign sect was very strong, and it could foster experts in the immortal Tao and provide them with resources to cultivate. However, Su Yen didn't care at all. He had the strongest life essence evolution chapter, and he also had the supreme origin scripture. So, he didn't need to join any power at all. "You!" The silver-haired old woman was slightly annoyed. How terrifying was the holy daughter of the sovereign sect. Even exalted overlords would lower themselves to become friends with her, so it wasn't a big deal for young overlords to follow by her side. So long as the holy daughter of the sovereign sect spoke the word, numerous young overlords would come over from all over the world. However, Su Yen had no intention to turn around. Interesting. The holy daughter of the sovereign sect smiled, and her smile was extremely charming and drop-dead gorgeous. She stood barefooted in space and said calmly, "This path is a training ground for those at the lowest level. Your natural talent isn't bad, and I intend to foster you. I can provide you with a certain amount of resources, and I can guarantee that you'll step into the peak of the immortal realm within 10 years and come into contact with the immortal Tao. But why did you refuse?" As far as she was concerned, Su Yen was definitely an extraordinary figure that had walked out from the space-time universe. He didn't understand the eternal heavenly domain, didn't understand what an immortal sect was, and didn't understand how difficult the path of cultivation in the future would be. "I'm in great trouble, and I don't want to cause trouble for young Mississippi. Thank you for your appreciation. I'll be taking my leave now." Su Yan's voice sounded out, and the holy daughter of the sovereign sect didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Great trouble? What kind of trouble can't the sovereign sect suppress? Bastard! "Young miss, I'll capture him and ask him exactly how much trouble he's in." The silver-haired old woman was rather furious. "What are you doing?" The holy daughter of the sovereign sect shook her head lightly and said, "Nothing forcibly done is sweet. I just don't want to see such a good seedling waste his golden years of cultivation. Since he's unwilling, then I won't force him." That bastard kid! Young miss even promised him to come into contact with the immortal Tao, yet he actually didn't agree. "I think he's a bumpkin that doesn't know what the immortal Tao realm is at all," the silver-haired old woman said angrily. "He'll know how brutal the competition is once he arrives at the eternal heavenly domain. I think he'll regret it in the future, and he'll probably cry incessantly in his later years." "All right, we've obtained it. Let's go." A wisp of burning desire flashed in the depths of the holy daughter's eyes. She'd come to the space-time universe for the sake of a precious treasure of the immortal Tao, whereas Su Yen was just a tiny ripple in the ocean, and he wasn't worthy of her attention. "Why have you returned?" After a very long time, Su Yen walked out from the distant space-time universe after the holy daughter of the sovereign sect had vanished for half a day. The damaged cauldron hung above him, and it suppressed Su Yan's vital energy. Bamboo Moon was astounded, and then she said, "You wouldn't be regretting it, right?" "No, I was almost unable to restrain myself from making a move just now." Su Yen scratched his head. Earlier, the seed in his possession had trembled, and this seed was rather unique. Why did it tremble? He felt that the holy daughter of the sovereign sect possessed a precious treasure that had attracted the mysterious seed, and Su Yen was truly unable to restrain himself from making a move. However, he restrained himself. The holy daughter of the sovereign sect possessed a great background, and the slightest mistake might cause a great calamity. Moreover, with how terrifying the sovereign sect was, they would probably pursue Su Yen all over the world. Su Yen didn't want to be pursued by experts all over the world as soon as he arrived at the eternal heavenly domain. At that time, it would cause an uproar, and his identity would probably be exposed. "Su Yen, we can't kill and rob others, and we can't intimidate the weak with strength." Bamboo Moon was kind-hearted, and she still couldn't forget the holy daughter of the sovereign sect. Su Yan's face darkened and he said, "Are we on the same side?" Bamboo Moon chuckled, and her starry eyes shone brightly. Her smile was peerlessly beautiful, and she seemed exceptionally adorable. Su Yen shook his head helplessly. Next, to avoid trouble, Su Yen kept Bamboo Moon into his spacetime treasure. After doing all this, his expression was cold as he looked ahead. At the end of the bloody path, some people had gathered. There were about a few hundred of them, and some of them had exceptionally powerful auras. One had to know that there was more than one ancient path. There were about a dozen of such ancient paths, and no one knew how much it cost to construct these ancient paths. Even that fierce person is here. He's probably going to challenge the Emperor Road's battle arena. At the end of the ancient path, some people were shocked. In the past half a year, Su Yen had made a name for himself on the bloody path. With his mysterious background, there were very few people who dared to provoke him. Su Yen sat cross-legged on the ground and waited with the people gathered here. "I hope I'm lucky enough to catch the eye of an expert from an immortal sect. Let's see how lucky we are. Now that the Emperor Road's battle arena is open, the major immortal sects are in need of people. The chances of passing are much higher than before." Some cultivators discussed softly. At the end of the ancient path, experts from some immortal sects from the eternal heavenly domain would come here every once in a while. They would bring some experts to their sects to further their studies. Of course, joining an immortal sect depended on one's luck as well. Immortal realm experts were no weaklings, but the cultivation resources required to reach the immortal realm were too shocking. The immortal sects could not just accept anyone. Although these immortal sects had the ability to nurture immortal experts, the resources required for each immortal expert was even more shocking. Many immortals were not destined to reach the immortal path. After all, there was a limit to how much potential one could tap into. Such people were the primary choice of immortal sections. "I hope I'm lucky enough to join the Sky Bamboo lineage," Su Yen thought to himself. His goal was not to join any top-notch immortal sect. He only wanted to join the Sky Bamboo lineage. His biggest goal now was to find Zhu Yao and the place where the Sky Bamboo's progenitor fell. Both of them were closely related to the Sky Bamboo lineage. The giant bamboo even said that it was confident that it could take away some fortunes and opportunities from the Sky Bamboo lineage. This must be very important. After all, the giant bamboo was the progenitor's bamboo. "It's here." After waiting for 3 days, Su Yen opened his eyes. In front of him, at the end of the ancient path, was a majestic void. A golden path extended from the end of the ancient path. Su Yen and the others rushed forward and stepped onto the golden path. This path could lead them to the eternal heavenly domain. It was led by the recruitment offices of the major immortal sections. They also hoped to find some good seedlings. Chapter 1397. The Golden Path was surrounded by golden runes. These runes were special order runes that isolated the erosion of the void and protected the cultivators on the path. Boom! The golden path only stopped for 10 breaths of time before it trembled violently and turned into a golden ray of light, rushing towards the undying heavenly domain. The speed was so fast that Su Yen felt like he was crossing the river of time. No wonder they used such a method to receive me. There's still a long way to go from here to the undying heavenly domain. Su Yen thought to himself. Of course, in just 10 breaths of time, the golden path was in an uproar. Almost everyone's eyes were burning with passion as they looked at the huge object that was about to rush towards them. To them, the undying heavenly domain was filled with treasures. Now they had arrived at the origin of the legend. Su Yen also sucked in a breath of cold air, stunned. If the undying heavenly domain was like the universe, then the big and small universes were like stars. It was impossible to compare with the undying heavenly domain. The world in front of them was vast and boundless. The corner of the undying heavenly domain was so majestic that it made everyone tremble and suffocate. This is the cultivation world of the strong. Su Yen was looking forward to it even more. Only in this kind of heaven and earth could an extremely terrifying expert be born. Su Yen could even see the surging immortal matter floating in space and time, rich and exuberant as it surged in all directions. The undying substance was something that they dreamed of. Without it, the cultivation of the undying realm would be very slow. Only the space-time dimension of the undying heavenly domain could give birth to such a supreme substance, and even nurture the undying supreme medicine. It was to the extent that even legendary ultimate treasured medicines could be cultivated here, let alone other good things. Boom! The moment Su Yen and the others entered the undying heavenly domain, the protective light of the golden path dissipated. They were all suppressed by the space-time of the undying heavenly domain, and their bodies were about to be deformed. This was the suppression from the space-time dimension of the undying heavenly domain. However, they were not ordinary people. Their bodies shone brightly, releasing powerful blood essence to resist the suppression of the undying heavenly domain. They quickly adapted to the environment here. Not bad, not bad. There are some good seedlings. Hopefully we can nurture some generals. The first stage of the Emperor Road is about to end, but it's not too late. There are a few wild cultivators who are not bad. With some nurturing and guidance, their combat prowess will definitely increase significantly. The golden path stopped on the land and slowly disappeared. Experts from a few powers occupied this extremely vast downright, almost all of them older cultivators. Their eyes were sinister as they observed this group of people, also discussing amongst themselves. Su Yen realized that many people were paying attention to him, and he immediately calmed down. If the Sky Bamboo's elites were here, they would probably try to recruit him. All in all, Su Yen had to assimilate into the new environment as soon as possible. Bamboo Moon's situation could not be delayed either. He had to act as soon as possible. He was even worried that Bamboo Moon would refine her Dharma seed. Even though the giant bamboo tree had said that it would not be easy to refine it, the chances of success would be high if he were to use some trick. A few years had passed. Su Yen didn't know if Zhu Yao had succeeded or not, but he had to find her as soon as possible. Primal Chaos Paradise is recruiting 3 disciples. An old man spoke. He sat cross-legged in the chaos and did not reveal his true form. His words were like a huge bell that rang in everyone's ears. The group was pleasantly surprised. Primal Chaos Paradise was naturally an immortal sex orthodoxy. It was once glorious. Even though it had declined, it was still a very famous sect. A group of people immediately rushed toward them, hoping to be chosen. After all, the greatest benefit of joining an immortal sex orthodoxy was to gain experience on the path of life essence evolution. Only by establishing a strong foundation in the immortal realm would one have hope of reaching the immortal realm in the future. A power like primal chaos paradise had a long history and an ancient orthodoxy. They did not lack books on the path of life essence evolution. Su Yan's eyes were slightly cold. Enemies were bound to meet on a narrow road. The Chaos Valley Master was an expert from primal chaos paradise. Some powers spoke one after another, hoping to recruit disciples with great potential. The scene was lively. Even though the great immortal sects had no lack of geniuses, these people who had walked out from the large and small universes of the void spacetime had gone through many hardships and difficulties. They were worthy of being nurtured by Dali. Everyone, the moment an old expert from the Sky Bamboo lineage stepped forward, the place was in an uproar. Many people rushed toward the recruitment site of the Sky Bamboo lineage. Haha, don't be hasty. Everyone, take your time. You'll all have a chance. Zhu Xiangming's face was flushed red. He was an outer sect elder of the Sky Bamboo lineage. When he saw a large group of cultivators gathering, he was especially proud. The experts from Primal Chaos Paradise snorted. However, they did not dare to behave atrociously here. After all, this area was under the control of the Sky Bamboo lineage. The Sky Bamboo lineage was a famous immortal sect's orthodoxy. It had been passed down since ancient times and had never declined. Their lineage even had a supreme overlord like Zhu Yanghua in charge, which made them even more famous. Moreover, the Sky Bamboo lineage ruled over hundreds of continents. Their clans were mighty and had great authority in the immortal heavenly domain. Of course, the recruitment requirements of the Sky Bamboo lineage were extremely strict. Ordinary people could not get in. When it was Su Yan's turn, Zhu Xiangming was extremely satisfied. However, when he asked about his name and background, his expression changed. Junior is Xia Kunlun. As soon as Su Yan reported his name, Zhu Xiangming's face sank slightly, and he stared at Su Yan with a gloomy gaze. Su Yan's heart skipped a beat. Exposed? That shouldn't be the case. Su Yan had only used the name Xia Kunlun for a very short period of time, and only a few people knew about it. How could it have been noticed by an immortal sect? You're not qualified. Zhu Xiangming smiled ghastly as he waved his hand and said with an annoyed expression, "Go away. Go squat at the side." Rage arose in Su Yan's heart, and he almost cursed. He was about to succeed, yet he failed as soon as he reported his name. Su Yan was indignant. On the other hand, Su Yan's companions were dumbstruck as well. This ferocious fellow is not qualified? Some people felt that Su Yan had probably offended someone. Otherwise, it would be impossible for the Sky Bamboo lineage to reject him. This kid is so young, yet he dares to offend the sovereign sect. He's courting death. Zhu Xiangming spoke coldly and said to the others, "Next." Bastard. Su Yan's face darkened and he was infuriated. This old bastard is too vengeful. He guessed that it wasn't the holy maiden of the sovereign sect because a dignified holy maiden wouldn't be petty. So, it was probably the silver-haired old woman by her side. Just yesterday, the silver-haired old woman had notified the experts here that Xia Kunlun had offended the sovereign sect, and she told them to do as they saw fit. Even though the Sky Bamboo lineage was an immortal sect as well, the sovereign sect was the strongest immortal sect, so there was no reason to offend an expert of the sovereign sect because of an outer court disciple. This old bastard spoiled my plans. Su Yan suddenly clenched his fists tightly while flames of rage surged in his heart. This was a superb opportunity bestowed by the heavens, yet he'd actually been rejected because of such a thing. So, how could he not be angry? Haha, it'll probably be difficult for you to do anything after offending the sovereign sect. The experts of the chaotic paradise sneered. The eternal heavenly domain wasn't as simple as they'd imagined. Perhaps to Su Yan and the others, the eternal heavenly domain was covered in gold, precious treasures, and eternal material. But did they really think that they could absorb it endlessly? Of course not. Even if it was a remote continent that was barren of resources, and even though it was a place that even immortal sects despised, there were still formidable powers that occupied it. Moreover, they utilized special formations to gather eternal material. Thus, the amount of eternal material that drifted through the mountains and rivers was extremely limited. If one didn't obtain such resources to support his cultivation, then his advancement in the eternal realm would be extremely slow, and some bitter people would find it extremely difficult to break through a minor realm without 1,000 years. This Xia Kunlun is truly pitiful. Yeah, his potential is very strong. Unfortunately, he's offended someone, and it'll probably be difficult for him to do anything. Some experts that traveled with Su Yan had successfully entered immortal sects, and they all looked at Su Yan with gazes of pity. They were very clearly aware that this fellow's combat strength was even more formidable than theirs. Unfortunately, without the support of an immortal sect, it was very difficult for them to go too far. The undying heavenly domain is very big, and much more mysterious than you can imagine, Zhu Xiangming said with a smile. Now that you've become an outer disciple of my sky bamboo lineage, do not cause any trouble. At the same time, I'm looking forward to seeing you all perform meritorious deeds for the various continents of my sky bamboo lineage. When that time comes, I'll personally request for rewards for all of you. Yes, Elder. The group quickly nodded, looking forward to the future even more. Although they were considered top-notch experts in their own universe, they knew very well that there were many experts in the undying heavenly domain. Even a true dragon would have to lie down obediently. Zhu Xiangming was also looking forward to seeing them perform well. As an outer disciple elder, he would also be rewarded by his family. Although these rogue cultivators are also extraordinary, how can they be compared to the legacy disciples of the immortal sects? Some shook their heads and laughed. In recent years, there had been rumors in the outside world that the sky bamboo ancestors had fallen, and the rich continents under their rule were coveted by the immortal sects. The rich continents would produce a huge amount of eternal material, which was very important to the tribes. There were only a limited number of rich continents in the undying heavenly domain, and they were all firmly controlled by the major forces. Now that the Emperor Road's battle platforms had opened, some forces were already secretly plotting against them, giving the tribe a headache. If the Emperor Road's battle platforms under their jurisdiction were taken over by the experts of the other forces, they would become a huge laughingstock. Soon, the recruitment process ended. Most of the people sighed. Since they could not join the immortal sects, they could only choose to join the other forces. In short, they had to integrate into the environment as soon as possible to survive in the undying heavenly domain. It's really hard to rise without joining the immortal sections. Someone was depressed. He came from a great universe, and according to the tribe's history, an old ancestor of his tribe entered the undying heavenly domain, but he did not join the immortal sections. In the end, he wandered in the undying heavenly domain for tens of thousands of years without achieving anything. In his later years, he returned to his family and left with hatred. This was enough to show how important it was to join the immortal sections. These people are too despicable. All the good seedlings have been taken away by the immortal sects, and now it's our turn. What's the point of being angry? It's always been like this. At this time, another group of people arrived. Their forces were relatively weaker, and they could only choose the remaining ones. What should we do? Su Yin frowned slightly. It seemed that the Sky Bamboo faction would not be able to get in. If you push me too far, I'll fight in the arena. I don't believe that I can't win an Emperor Road battle platform. When the time comes, ask the experts of the Sky Bamboo faction to invite me to join your tribe. Su Yan's eyes flashed coldly. Although he did not want to cause trouble and wanted to keep a low profile, he had no choice but to go all out at this critical juncture. He was confident that he could win an Emperor Road battle platform. This was not a problem for him. Since this was the Sky Bamboo faction's territory, things would be much easier. A new journey. I've finally arrived at the undying heavenly domain. Chapter 1398. Hey, I'm talking to you. Didn't you hear me? A dissatisfied voice rang out, interrupting Su Yan's train of thought. He saw a little girl with her hands on her hips, glaring at him and saying angrily, "If you don't want to come, say something. Although our White Phoenix continent can't compare to an immortal sect, we're still a vassal sect of the Sky Bamboo continent." A vassal sect of the Sky Bamboo continent? Su Yan's eyes lit up. That's right, do you want to come? Our clan controls a continent, the little girl said proudly. All right, I'll follow you. Su Yan nodded. The little girl was stunned. He agreed just like that? This little girl's bloodline isn't simple. Su Yan sensed that the little girl's bloodline was very strong. Her name was Bai Shuang, and she had an imperceptible true phoenix chi. Although Bai Shuang was a human, Su Yan reckoned that she had a true phoenix bloodline in her body. Sister, he agreed. Bai Shuang's eyebrows curved, smiling happily as she looked at a girl. Su Yan's gaze fell on a girl in white not far away. This girl was natural and unrestrained, with bright eyes and white teeth, and a slightly cold temperament. However, Su Yan caught a powerful energy fluctuation from her body. Her name was Bai Yunxi, and she looked similar to the little girl. She was nodding slightly at Su Yan. Come with me, I'm Bai Shuang. We're on the same side from now on. What's your name? The little girl was very lively. Although she was only 14 or 15 years old, she was wearing a silver dress and had long hair that reached her waist. She was extremely cute and her big eyes were shining. Xia Kunlun. Su Yan smiled in response, then looked at Bai Yunxi and said, Is this your sister? That's right. Bai Shuang said proudly, My sister is a great expert, the strongest woman in the White Phoenix continent. She has many suitors. Don't waste time on my sister, or you'll cry. Su Yan was stunned. This young lady was too talkative, blabbering nonstop. Su Yan's gaze also scanned Bai Yunxi. In his opinion, there was a big difference between a strong woman and a strong woman. At this time, Bai Yunxi looked at Su Yan and said coolly, Do you understand White Phoenix continent? Su Yan shook his head and said, I don't know much about the immortal heavenly domain. But if the Bai family is a vassal force of the Sky Bamboo, why would they want to recruit me? Bai Yunxi naturally knew that Zhu Xiangming had rejected Su Yan, but since Su Yan was one of the strongest outsiders, she was not willing to let him go. If she could recruit him, he would be of great help to her. Bai Yunxi did not expect Su Yan to agree so readily. However, she guessed that Su Yan wanted to join them because of the Sky Bamboo continent. After all, the Sky Bamboo continent was a vassal force. Anyone who was outstanding would be qualified to enter the Sky Bamboo continent to further their studies. Bai Yunxi said calmly, It's not convenient to tell you this. In short, if you really want to join the Bai family, you will be treated very well in the future. You will also receive guidance from a true immortal expert. I'm afraid there are some conditions? Su Yan asked. Of course. Bai Yunxi said, It's not difficult. Now that the Emperor Road battle platform is open, if you can help me on the platform, there will be a place for you in the position of consecrator. For a force like the Bai family, immortal experts were naturally the strongest of experts. After all, they were important figures who were about to come into contact with the immortal Tao. Being a consecrator of the Bai family was an extraordinary status. It was equivalent to being a VIP. The Bai family would spend a lot of resources to provide them every year. Bai Shuang was a little surprised. Was this Su Yan so strong? Was he qualified to become a consecrator of the Bai family? Some of the consecrators of the Bai family were at the 7th or 8th level of the immortal realm. How high was Su Yan's cultivation level? I heard that the death rate in the Emperor Road battle platform is very high. Is Miss Bai Yunxi planning to fight for a platform? Su Yan asked. Yes. Bai Yunxi was very direct. She said, "The death rate in the Emperor Road battle platform is very high. If you don't want to go on the platform, there is no need for you to join the Bai family. There is no free lunch in this world." Su Yen could not help but smile bitterly. This woman was really hot-tempered. He had only mentioned it, but he did not expect to be despised. "Although my words are a little harsh, they are the truth," Bai Yunxi said coldly. "The Emperor Road battle platform requires a lot of courage. If you shrink back in the face of great danger, it will only ruin everything." Su Yen shrugged helplessly and said, "Don't worry, Mississippi. I won't run away in the face of danger." "That's good. Since you have decided, we will advance and retreat together in the Emperor Road battle platform." Bai Yunxi's expression softened slightly. She then said, "We will depart for the White Phoenix Island now. There is only 1 month left before the Emperor Road battle platform ends. The last few days will be the most dangerous. When the time comes, someone will explain the rules of the Emperor Road battle platform to you." Su Yen nodded and left with Bai Yunxi and the others. "Elder, look. The kid you rejected has been recruited by the Bai family." Zhu Xiangming's face darkened when he heard the report from his follower. His eyes flashed coldly as he looked at Bai Yunxi with an unpleasant expression. "Is the Bai family crazy? How dare they recruit just anyone?" Zhu Xiangming's follower said angrily, "They are not giving the elder any face. They know that the elder rejected him, but they still dare to recruit him. This is outrageous. The Bai family is done for. They are relying on a wild cultivator. Although Xia Kunlun has some skills, he is just a paper tiger. What can he achieve?" Zhu Xiangming shook his head and laughed. "The Emperor Road battle platform of the White Phoenix Island. Haha, this Xia Kunlun doesn't know anything. He won't even know how he died. The hundreds of continents under the Sky Bamboo lineage were all ruled by forces like the Bai family. They would also pay tribute to the Sky Bamboo lineage every year. The Sky Bamboo lineage was responsible for protecting them from being bullied by other immortal sections. Of course, the Sky Bamboo lineage would not interfere too much with the Bai family's actions as long as they paid tribute every year. The White Phoenix Island was insignificant in the vast undying heavenly domain. It could only be considered a barren continent. Otherwise, the Bai family would not be qualified to rule it. The Bai family had been in charge of the White Phoenix Island since ancient times. The family had a true immortal expert. Took Bai Yunxi and the others 3 days to get close to the White Phoenix Island. The moment they walked out of the spacetime arc, Su Yen looked at the White Phoenix Island from afar. It was a visual shock. Although it was not a rich continent, the White Phoenix Island was still very majestic and had a vast territory. Su Yen was speechless. Just the White Phoenix Island alone was as big as the black-yellow universe. Most importantly, the White Phoenix Island was filled with undying substances. Although it was not very rich, this type of substance was something that undying beings could only dream of. "How is it? The universe you live in is not as big as our White Phoenix Island, right?" Bai Shuang was lively and cute. The little girl chattered non-stop with Su Yen along the way. She was also very curious about the void. However, Bai Shuang knew very well that the large and small universes in the void were lacking in cultivation resources. It was difficult for any experts to be born. Su Yen smiled and did not comment. "Let's go." Bai Yunxi put away the spacetime arc and the group quickly approached an ancient city. This was the White Phoenix City, the most prosperous ancient city in the White Phoenix Island. The Bai family's residence was here. The city was very large, covering an area of about 1,000,000 miles. Such extravagance! Su Yen muttered in his heart. The walls of White Phoenix City were covered with densely packed formation marks. There were so many of them that it was difficult to count them. This was an extremely valuable array that could contain the essence of heaven and earth. Most importantly, with the activation of White Phoenix City's array, The undying substances drifting through spacetime within the vast territory began to gather towards White Phoenix City. The White Phoenix City was the place where the undying substances gathered the most in the White Phoenix Island. Just the entrance fee paid by the outsiders was not a small sum. The clans of the undying heavenly domain must have strict control over the undying substances in their jurisdiction. They will not allow outsiders to absorb them as they wish. Su Yen thought to himself. No wonder the immortal sect orthodoxy's rallying power is so shocking. The White Phoenix Island is just a small and remote place. The rich continent is probably ridiculously rich. Even becoming an ordinary disciple of the immortal sect orthodoxy is much better than becoming a consecrator of the Bai family. The universe was a place where the strong preyed on the weak. Therefore, there were many undying experts in the undying heavenly domain. Of course, most of them relied on external forces to mature their battle physique. There were too few who relied on their own bodies to break through. In the past few days, he had also learned that there were only 2 undying experts in the entire White Phoenix Island. One of them was Bai Yunshi. However, Bai Yunshi had not stepped into the peak of the undying realm and was not considered an undying overlord. The undying substances in this city are very rich, but it is difficult to absorb them. Without the support of a faction, it will not be easy to make a name for oneself in the undying heavenly domain. I wonder where the old leader and the others are and how they are doing. Su Yen entered the White Phoenix City and tried to absorb the undying substances. He realized that there was a resistance in the undying heavenly domain that was affecting Su Yen. In fact, this was nothing to Su Yen. If he used the body-nurturing art, he could easily take away the undying substances in the White Phoenix City and use them to accumulate the foundation he needed to break through. Io, isn't this the strongest woman in our White Phoenix Island? A sinister voice rang out, interrupting Su Yan's train of thought. Su Yan stood at the gate of the White Phoenix Island and looked at the group of people in front of him. The leader was an old man in a green robe, who was looking at Bai Yunshi with a fake smile. Damn it! The lively Bai Shuang suddenly turned serious and said with a sullen face, "The second elder of the Kai family, this old tortoise wants to see us make a fool of ourselves again." Old tortoise? Su Yen was surprised. He stared at the second elder of the Kai family. Although the old man had white hair and a youthful face, his eyes were too small, like a pair of green beans. He led a group of people to block the path of the Bai family. The second elder of the Kai family, I'm afraid you'll be waiting at the gate for a few days. I'm really honored. Bai Yunshi's face was full of sarcasm. Hearing this, the second elder of the Kai family's face turned gloomy. He looked at the guards behind Bai Yunshi and quickly fixed his eyes on a stranger, Su Yen. He said indifferently, "I heard that Miss Bai Yunshi went to the recruitment office of the Void Time and Space Dojo. I really want to see the cultivators of the Void Time and Space to broaden my horizons." "What does it have to do with you? Get out of my way!" Bai Yunshi shouted coldly. Although the Bai family was the master of the continent, the Kai family's ancestor stepped into the true immortal realm 100 years ago and became a big shot in the White Phoenix Island. The Kai family had always been at odds with the Bai family and even coveted the position of the master of the continent. If the ancestor of the Bai family was not still alive, the Kai family would have taken action and seized control of the White Phoenix Island. "Young man, you're too rude." The second elder of the Kai family's face darkened. He then said to Su Yen, "I don't know what benefits Bai Yunshi gave you, but the Kai family can give you the same." Bai Yunshi's face turned ugly. Ever since the Emperor Road battle platform began, the Bai family had gathered many foreign aid. However, the Kai family had interfered and recruited most of their men. In the Emperor Road battle platform, both sides had sent out 10 great experts. If Su Yen was recruited by them, the Bai family would be in an awkward position. It would be difficult for them to even gather 10 Immortal Realm experts. The second elder of the Kai family ignored Bai Yunshi. He looked smug and said with a smile, "As long as you agree, I'll give you 10 stalks of immortal quality medicine. I'll even give you at least 30 stalks of immortal quality medicine every year." The second elder of the Kai family laughed. What could a wild boy from a low-level universe know? Paying a high price was enough to recruit him. This old turtle. Bai Shuang was so angry that her eyes were burning. She anxiously pulled Xia Kunlun's arm, worried that he would join the Kai family. Otherwise, the Bai family would be humiliated. Shuang, come here. Bai Yunshi glared at Bai Shuang. If Su Yan was on the Kai family's side, she would not say a word. She would not pay a high price to keep someone who could not stay. Chapter 1399. Fighting for supremacy in the Emperor Road battle stage required courage that was not afraid of death to persevere until the end. Bai Yunshi did not believe that Xia Kunlun would risk his life for a relationship that was maintained with money. If the Kai family could easily rope Su Yan in with this small amount of money, she would not say a word. She would even feel lucky. Sister. Bai Shuang looked aggrieved. She wanted to share the burden with her sister. Bai Yunshi had been working hard for the family for the past 6 months. Although she had roped in many experts, the Kai family had humiliated the Bai family. If this continued, the Bai family would be left with no one to rely on. It would be an awkward situation. The Kai family wants to rope me in. It's not impossible. Su Yan chuckled. As soon as he said this, the Bai family's guards were furious. Some of them even drew their swords. Bai Shuang felt as if she had been struck by lightning. She had been talking and laughing with Su Yan these days. However, she did not expect him to betray her. Let's go. Bai Yunshi clenched her slender hands. She hated Su Yan to the extreme. She suppressed the anger in her heart and turned around to leave. As for the Kai family's second elder, the joy on his face was getting stronger. The day of the final battle was approaching. If the Bai family could not even gather 10 immortal experts by then, he wondered what would happen. But the price you offered is too low. Su Yan looked at the second elder of the Kai clan and said with a fake smile, "To think that you are the second elder of the Kai clan. Bai Yunshi, a woman, gave me the treatment of 100 stalks of immortal treasures. Don't take out 30 stalks of immortal treasures and embarrass yourself." What? 100 immortal treasures? The Kai family's second elder's expression changed drastically. He glared at Su Yan and said, "Are you kidding me? You are worth 100 immortal treasures? Ignorant. Why are you shouting if you can't afford the price?" Su Yan looked disgusted. He waved his hand at the Kai family's second elder and said, "Go away. Go play with the mud. Don't block the way." The people around were stunned. Bai Shuang's eyes were wide open and her mouth was wide open. It was as if she could swallow a goose egg. Even Bai Yunshi, who was leaving quickly, was stiff. She turned her head with a stunned expression and looked at the slightly domineering Su Yan. It was really hard to imagine that this sentence could come from the mouth of a young man without any foundation. "You." The Kai family's second elder's face twisted in anger, his eyes spitting fire as he roared, "Junior, how dare you!" He unleashed his peak sempiternal realm battle prowess and suppressed Su Yan from all directions. However, no matter how strong his battle prowess was, it disappeared without a trace when it reached Su Yan. Su Yan even smiled faintly. "I say, Kai clan's second elder, with your old bones, you should go home and teach your children. You still want to suppress me? You're thinking too much." Su Yan lifted his feet and walked towards Bai Yunshi. The members of the Bai clan who were still in a daze also walked towards Bai Yunshi. Bastard! The Kai family's second elder was so angry that his lungs were trembling. He shouted angrily, "Very well, you wild cultivator, you think you're worth 100 immortal realm herbs? What a joke. I'd like to see how long you can stand in the Bai clan. Let's wait and see." The entire street resounded with the Kai family's second elder's angry roar. The group of Bai Clan's guards laughed and vented the anger in their hearts. They had been humiliated for half a year, but they didn't expect Xia Kunlun to be so stubborn. When they looked at Su Yan, their expressions were completely different. There was more respect in their eyes. Bai Shuang also laughed happily. Xia Kunlun didn't betray them, which was undoubtedly a slap to the Kai family's face. She said proudly, "I'd like to see how arrogant the Kai family can be in the future. Do you think you can become the master of the White Phoenix continent by recruiting a few greedy people? Dream on." "You've surprised me." Bai Yunxi looked at Su Yan and said calmly, "Aren't you afraid of offending the Kai family? After all, you're different. You have the right to choose." "Why? In Mrs. Hart, am I a villain who will betray you at any time?" Su Yan laughed. "Villain?" A gentle smile appeared on Bai Yunxi's slightly cold face. She said, "That's a good description. It seems that your Bai clan situation in the White Phoenix continent isn't good." Su Yan asked. The Bai clan controlled the White Phoenix continent. Even if the Kai family had a true immortal expert, they shouldn't be suppressed by the Kai family. Hearing this, Bai Yunxi was silent for a moment. She transmitted her voice to Su Yan. "The old ancestor doesn't have much time left. The Kai family knows this very well, so they want to replace my Bai clan. I forgot to tell you, the enemy we are going to face is the #1 genius of the White Phoenix continent, the young overlord of the Kai family, Kai Yuan." "I see." Su Yan nodded slightly. Bai Yunxi was surprised, but Su Yan didn't care. Could it be that he was wrong? This person's strength was definitely not in front of him. How much strength was he hiding? In Bai Yunxi's heart, Su Yan became more and more important. She hoped that this person could bring her some surprises. Not long after, Su Yan arrived at the Overlord of the White Phoenix continent, the official residence of the Bai clan. The official residence was huge and majestic. Faintly, it emitted a terrifying wave of release. One wave after another, it seemed to drown the entire White Phoenix city. Su Yan was shocked. This was the aura of a true immortal. Was this a sign that one's life was coming to an end? They followed the official residence and soon entered a small world. This was the ancestral land of the Bai clan. The small world was also very vast. The immortal substance here was extremely rich. Su Yan took a few deep breaths and felt that the energy of the seventh heavens that had stopped moving was faintly growing. Su Yan was pleasantly surprised. If he cultivated here for a long time, the eighth heavens would not be far away. However, this was just an ordinary continent. If it was a rich continent or even a cultivation grotto heaven opened by an immortal sect, it was hard to imagine how exuberant the immortal energy would be. This is the aura of a true immortal? Su Yan looked at the small world from afar. He vaguely sensed that the small world had a terrifying trajectory. This was a very special field, and the core area was the true immortal palace. A true immortal's abode. Su Yan's eyes focused again. Although he had killed a true immortal before, he had relied on external forces. Naturally, his body had not fought against a true immortal. Now, a declining true immortal's aura was enough to shock the world, suppressing the world and space-time. The deeper one looked, the more tyrannical the pressure would be. This was a power that could practically push through dry weeds, enough to suppress all living creatures in an entire small world. It seems that he is relying on immortal substance to maintain the vitality of a true immortal. Su Yan thought. As an 8th-grade grandmaster, he directly saw the situation of the Bai clan's old ancestor. This was a sea of immortal energy maintaining the vitality of a true immortal, causing his aura to constantly leak out and intimidate the Kai clan. Although the Kai family knew that elder ancestor Bai was nearing the end of his lifespan, they did not know his exact condition. Although maintaining this state at all times would cause the Bai family ancestral land to lose a great deal of energy, the entire Bai family was well aware that once a true immortal old ancestor perished, the Bai family would be completely finished. The treasures of a true immortal were enough to drive all the major and minor powers of the White Phoenix continent crazy. Therefore, no matter what price they had to pay, they had to maintain the aura of the true immortal patriarch. No wonder the Bai clan is no match for the Kai clan in terms of wealth. Su Yen shook his head slightly. The cost of maintaining the vitality of a genuine immortal like this was extremely high. He could tell from the traces of the gravitational field that the Bai family had been relying on this method for at least 100 years. Not to mention 100 years, even 10 years would cause serious injuries. It seems like in the celestial domain of the immortal celestial domain, only true immortals are considered powerful figures. Only true immortals are capable of dominating an entire continent. Su Yen thought to himself, if that's the case, the situation in the rich and fertile continents would be even more shocking. However, true immortals are already strong enough, and they are considered experts with real power in the immortal sections. At this moment, a steward from the Bai family arrived and arranged for Su Yen to stay in a high-class secret palace. The secret palace had a great array that could gather undying materials to strengthen one's strength. This was naturally important to an undying being. The steward also informed Su Yen of many things to take note of, as well as the time of the final battle in the Emperor Road battle arena. For a force like the White Phoenix continent, it was rare for an undying overlord from the outside world to come here and fight in the arena. The competition in the Emperor Road battle arena was extremely brutal. In order to be nominated on the Emperor leaderboard, one had to fight against another undying overlord. It seems like the Bai family doesn't trust me. Su Yen sat cross-legged in the secret palace and sensed that someone was secretly observing him from the outside world. He shook his head slightly and made some slight changes to the array in the secret palace. Then, he opened the space-time treasure. I'm so bored. Bamboo Moon walked out and patted her plump chest. She complained, "What took you so long?" Su Yen smiled and said, "It's been a while. Once I've settled down, I'll buy a space-time secret palace for you. You can grow some flowers and plants there so that you won't be bored." "That's too expensive." Bamboo Moon shook her head slightly. She looked at Su Yen and said, "You're new here. You should be careful. Moreover, we don't have much wealth with us. The resources we brought from the Xianhuang universe won't be of much use in the undying heavenly domain. You don't have to worry about me." "That's nothing." Su Yen did not mind at all. He said domineeringly, "How long have we known each other? I haven't bought any gifts for you yet. This time, I'm going to spend a lot of money on you." Bamboo Moon giggled. Her snow-white cheeks were full of smiles. Her eyes were bright and bright. At this time, Su Yen told Bamboo Moon about what happened in the past few days. Bamboo Moon frowned and said, "Su Yen, you must be careful. Don't be careless. The Sky Bamboo clan has many powerful people. Don't waste your time on these things." Moreover, Bamboo Moon was wearing a white dress. She looked dignified and beautiful. She said faintly, "I think I'm fine now, Zhu Yu. Even if you don't think for yourself, you have to think for Senior Giant Bamboo. There's also the Heavenly Bamboo Almighty." Su Yen sighed. "Then," he said coldly, "there are some things that you have to make them admit their mistakes when they've done something wrong." Bamboo Moon clenched her slender hands. How could she not be angry? She was only worried about Su Yan's safety. But seeing that he had made up his mind, Bamboo Moon nodded. In short, their fates were one. Even if they failed, they would have no regret. "Someone's here." Su Yen kept Bamboo Moon in his space-time treasure and looked outside the secret palace. "Grand Elder, what brings you here so late at night?" Su Yen walked out and bowed. "Don't be so courteous. You and I are on the same level." The Bai family's Grand Elder had the demeanor of an elder. He looked at Su Yen a few times and finally took out a pouch made of animal skin. Su Yen opened the pouch and was stunned. "Here are 50 stalks of immortality medicine. Bai Yunxi asked me to give them to you for your cultivation. She said that if you succeed in the Emperor Road battle platform, she'll give you another 50 stalks and even the title of Chief Consecrator. The Grand Elder's tone was low. He was very surprised. Bai Yunxi valued Xia Kunlun too much. He had to admit that Yingjie, who came out of the void spacetime universe, was not ordinary. However, Bai Yunxi valued Su Yan too much. Was a wild cultivator worth that much? 100 stalks of immortality medicine was not a big deal. But to be chief consecrator was almost equal to him. Could Su Yan really bear such a heavy responsibility? The Grand Elder even told Su Yan that he could go to the Sutra Library to choose divine powers and secret arts to cultivate. Bai Yunxi has really surprised me. Su Yan was stunned. Who could sit still when she was trying to rope him in? If not for the fact that Su Yan had been through a lot, he might have worked for her. However, the immortality medicine was very important to Su Yan. He wondered if he could step into the 8th heaven of the immortal realm in one go. Chapter 1400. Immortal Treasured Herbs, 100 Years, 1,000 Years. Su Yan sent the Bai family's great elder away and took out all the immortal treasured herbs from the beast's skin bag. 50 immortal treasured herbs of different colors, but the immortal substance they emitted was almost the same. They were all herbs of the same age. One must know that immortal treasured herbs were extremely difficult to nurture. They could only be nurtured in the heaven domain. Since the Bai family was the hegemon of the White Phoenix continent, they naturally possessed a huge amount of immortal substance. Of course, the Bai family had to pay tribute to the Sky Bamboo bloodline every year. 100 immortal treasured herbs was not a small sum to the Bai family. Each immortal treasured herb contained a huge amount of immortal substance. These herbs were much more valuable than the ones Su Yan had obtained on the Blood Road. Immortal treasured herbs should be the currency of the immortal heavenly domain. Su Yan closed his eyes and ate the first immortal treasured herb. He circulated the initial scripture to refine the herb's energy and strengthen the immortal energy in his body. My cultivation is very slow now. My mortal body must have absorbed the energy of the great Tao immortal mountain with the body-nurturing art. With my mortal body's current foundation, it's extremely difficult for me to break through a small realm, especially from the 7th heavenly layer to the peak of the immortal realm. The amount of energy required is insane. It's not something that can be solved with just a few hundred immortal treasured herbs. Su Yan thought to himself. Without the support of a strong foundation, it would take a long time for him to reach the peak of the immortal realm. In fact, the simplest and crudest way was for Su Yan to steal the energy of the Bai family's ancestral land and strengthen himself with the body-nurturing art. However, the price of doing so would be a heavy blow to the Bai family. 1. Su Yan's fleshy shell burned brightly. His flesh and blood glowed brightly. Every breath he took distorted the space-time around him. Su Yan's exhalation rate was astonishing. It took him less than half a day to refine an immortal treasure. Each immortal treasure could strengthen Su Yan's aura. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. Su Yan had almost finished refining all the immortal treasured herbs. There were only 5 immortal treasured herbs left. Breaking through? Bamboo Moon didn't feel bored in the secret mansion. She watched Su Yan cultivate all day long. On this day, Bamboo Moon could vaguely sense that the immortal energy within Su Yan's body was surging and boiling. A thunderous sound could be heard. His aura was about to soar. A beautiful smile bloomed on her face. The stronger Su Yan was, the more relieved she felt. Once he reached the 8th level of the immortal realm, Su Yan would be very close to the 9th level. Only by stepping into this level would Su Yan be able to come into contact with the immortal Tao. Su Yan's eyes suddenly opened, and a divine light flashed. He let out a low and deep voice, and it sounded like he was in pain. What happened? Bamboo Moon's expression changed slightly as she looked at him nervously. She felt that Su Yan's condition wasn't too good. His body was emitting an abnormally high temperature. Even though she was wearing the clothes that Su Yan had specially made for her, she still couldn't stand it. I'm fine. Su Yan's eyes widened, and he clenched his fists tightly. His body was mutating, and the scorching heat was unbearable. It was as if his life essence was undergoing some kind of transformation. Su Yan wasn't too worried about this. He had a deep understanding of the path of life essence. He knew that the mutation of this kind of physique was greatly related to the supreme treasure body. Am I about to cultivate the indestructible body? His eyes flashed with excitement. Once the indestructible body reached minor completion, it would be an incredible achievement. One could definitely be called a supreme overlord. It was even said that a minor completion indestructible body would have a heavenly combat strength that could shake the immortal Tao realm. With Su Yan's body's uniqueness, his indestructible body would be extremely abnormal and shocking. Even supreme treasure bodies were divided into strong and weak. It depended on the degree to which the life essence was awakened. Su Yan relaxed his breakthrough. He gathered a huge amount of immortal matter in his body and began to transform his body. Su Yan's treasure body was changing. It was like a huge black hole, absorbing the immortal matter. As time passed, Su Yan's body emitted a faint golden luster. Even his hair and pupils turned golden. Even his body's mutation was becoming more serious. The faint golden body was about to turn into a golden embryo. The body's essence has transformed to immortal, and it can continue to strengthen the life essence. It seems like the path of immortality is even more mysterious than I imagined. Bamboo Moon discovered that although Su Yan's body was shrinking and seemed to be withering, the more it was like this, the more terrifying Su Yan's body was. When Su Yan swallowed the 5 immortal medicine to provide more energy for his evolution, Su Yan's entire body exploded with golden light. Even his bones turned a faint golden color. Even his internal organs began to turn a faint golden color. What kind of astonishing transformation was this? This also caused Su Yan's aura to become berserk. It was suffused with an unparalleled heavenly might. A kind of life essence transformation gave birth to a pressure that made the entire secret palace feel like it was going to explode. In the end, Su Yan let out a low roar. He stretched his body and reconstructed it. Crackle! Suddenly, it was as if a golden demon god was born. It was powerful and flourishing. The source of his blood and chi became denser. His body was so abnormal that it distorted time and space. It was extremely difficult for this heaven and earth to bear Su Yan's power. The void became dark. The world inside the secret palace was melted into a huge black hole. So strong. Su Yan's long golden hair draped over his shoulders. His flesh shell was suffused with a terrifying aura. The heaven and earth were trembling, unable to bear the pressure emitted by his body. A wisp of vast life aura was released from Su Yan's body. The atmosphere was monstrous. The human body's functions were too astonishing and exuberant. It shook the entire secret palace until it rumbled. Fortunately, there was a formation to isolate it. Otherwise, the disturbance would have been too great. Su Yan, have you cultivated the immortal body? Bamboo Moon was delighted. Hearing this, Su Yan took a deep breath and suppressed the life aura in his body. His appearance was also recovering, returning to his previous appearance. He clenched his fist and fiercely pulled out an immortal weapon he obtained on the bloody path. He directly looked at his arm. Bamboo Moon was shocked, but she was even more delighted. This weapon only left a trace of blood on Su Yan's arm. On the contrary, with the strength of his body, the weapon was wailing and about to break. There's still a lot more to go, Su Yan said excitedly. There are records about the immortal body in the ancient books I obtained on the bloody path. Immortal weapons can't threaten the immortal body at all. They'll even shatter with a touch. Bamboo Moon nodded. Although Su Yan hadn't cultivated it yet, he was very close to success. Previously, His body's self-awakening had strengthened the foundation of Su Yan's body. It was also to prepare for the final evolution. He estimated that it wouldn't be too simple. Although my body has improved a lot, I've used up all the energy I've accumulated to break through. Su Yan smiled helplessly. You're still acting like you've taken advantage of me. Bamboo Moon smiled sweetly. You'll break through the realm sooner or later, but the strengthening of the body's essence is an opportunity that can't be begged for. I'm afraid that it'll be difficult to strengthen the essence of the body even with precious tonics. That's natural. The immortal realm is to tap the potential of the body to prepare for the immortal realm in the future. Su Yan nodded. He estimated that only a grade 9 elixir pill could do that, but such elixir pills were too hard to come by. In short, the rewards from this battle were amazing. Su Yan began to pay more attention to the immortal body. If such a supreme treasure body was at the small success stage, it would probably cost a lot. The main reason was that he had no clue and no corresponding ancient books. The Emperor Road's battle arena is about to open. I should go out and take a look. Su Yan pushed open the door of the secret palace and walked out. The Bai family's cultivation dojo was heavily guarded when he arrived. Now it was especially lively. Many people with powerful auras were chatting and laughing. He's Xia Kunlun. Some people's expressions changed slightly. There was a hint of hostility. One of the black-faced men said coldly, 100 stalks of immortal medicine. Lady Bai Yunxi is so generous. She even promised him the position of the chief consecrator. Won't we have to listen to his orders in the future? Brother Jingfu, what are you talking about? A man in embroidered clothes smiled apologetically. We'll be family in the future. There's no need to talk about orders. You're treating us as outsiders. Humph. The black-faced man snorted. His name was Jingfu. He said disdainfully, whose family with him? He's just a wild cultivator from a broken universe. I don't believe he's that strong. Jingfu had a sense of superiority from the bottom of his heart. He did not think highly of a wild cultivator from a broken universe. Bai Lianggong smiled bitterly. Jingfu was also a consecrator that the Bai clan had recruited. Other than him, there were 3 others. On the Bai clan's side, 5 experts were going to participate in the battle. He was one of them, while Su Yan was the 10th. The matter of Bai Yunxi making the decision to let Su Yan become the chief consecrated disciple had caused an uproar in the Bai clan. Many elders had some opinions about it. However, Bai Yunxi was now the leader of the Bai family. As long as she agreed, these elders could only accept it helplessly. You're looking down on me. Su Yan shook his head slightly. With his soul fluctuation, he could hear what they were saying. Su Yan had no interest in becoming the chief consecrator of the Bai family. He was too lazy to pay attention to these people. He wandered around the cultivation dojo alone. Little Shuang, what are you doing? Not long after, Su Yan saw Bai Shuang. The little girl was unhappy. She was squatting on the ground and drawing circles. It was unknown who she was cursing. Who's the little girl? Bai Shuang looked at Su Yan and pouted. After a few more years, my strength will definitely catch up to yours. Su Yan shook his head and laughed. He had to admit that Bai Shuang's bloodline was extremely strong. In the future, she would definitely have great achievements. When he arrived in front of Bai Shuang, Su Yan followed the little girl's fiery eyes and saw Bai Yunxi. However, beside Bai Yunxi was a dignified man. He wore a purple gold crown and was dressed in luxurious clothes. Who is this person? Su Yan narrowed his eyes. This young man's combat strength was extraordinary. Although he restrained his aura, Su Yan could clearly feel his vigorous and powerful life energy. Bai Shuang fiercely said with a sound transmission, an old turtle gave birth to a little turtle. Su Yan's face turned cold. Bai Shuang seemed to hold a grudge against turtles. Are you saying that he is Zhu Li Hui's son? Su Yan's eyes instantly turned cold. How could he not know who Zhu Lihui was? What's wrong with you? Bai Shuang shivered. She felt as if she was following a prehistoric giant beast. She realized that something was wrong with Su Yan. His aura was too cold, causing her soul to stiffen. Su Yan clenched his fists, a cold light shooting out from his eyes. In the past, the one who suppressed Bamboo Moon was Zhu Yao. However, the one who used a secret technique to extract the sky bamboo aspect seed from Bamboo Moon's body was Zhu Lihui. Enemies really do cross paths. Chapter 1401. Okay. Bai Shuang's hair reached her waist. She was lively and cute. Her eyes were big and sparkling with excitement. Then, the little girl's face fell. She snorted and said, "Don't brag. He's a disciple of the Sky Bamboo sect." Although he didn't enter the top 10, Zhu Lihui found the qi of celestial medicine for him and helped him enter the immortal realm. His talent and potential are very strong. Not to mention Su Yan, even Bai Yunxi was no match for Zhu Gaoge. There were 3 kinds of immortality path. The first was to rely on immortality substance to mature the body. The second was to use celestial medicine. The third was to rely on oneself. The first was definitely the weakest, but the second was extraordinary. The essence of a powerful celestial medicine could improve the essence of a person's life. If the celestial medicine was strong enough, it would not be inferior to relying on oneself to cultivate the foundation. Zhu Gaoge was Zhu Lihui's only son. Therefore, all kinds of resources were given to him. It was difficult for Zhu Gaoge to not be strong. Now, he was an expert who came in contact with the celestial path. With Zhu Gaoge's identity and status, he was naturally a big shot in the White Phoenix continent. "Don't you want to kill him?" Su Yan asked. Bai Shuang was angry. She said, "If he dies, the Bai family is finished. I'm afraid the ancestor will be buried with him." Su Yan suppressed the strong impulse in his heart. Although he wanted to kill Zhu Gaoge, he could not let the Bai family be implicated. "Stop talking. No means no. Fellow cultivator, please go back." A furious voice came from the sky. Bai Yunxi clenched her slender hands and suppressed the anger in her heart. "No? Why not?" Zhu Gaoge's face was cold. He looked down at Bai Yunxi and said, "Am I not worthy of her? Do you still know the status of the Bai family? Answer me like this." "Zhu Gaoge, it's not a matter of whether we're worthy or not." Bai Yunxi was furious, but she knew what would happen if she angered Zhu Gaoge. She said coldly, Shuang is still young. She hasn't reached the age of marriage yet. Let's wait a few years." Su Yan was furious. Bai Shuang was still a little girl, and this Zhu Gaoge actually wanted to touch a little girl? Su Yan's heart skipped a beat. He guessed that Zhu Gaoge had come for Bai Shuang's body constitution. With Shuang's body constitution, it wouldn't be difficult for her to become an expert in the future. This Zhu Gaoge most likely wanted to use Bai Shuang as a cultivation furnace. Bai Yunxi naturally knew what Zhu Gaoge wanted. If Zhu Gaoge really married Shuang, Bai Yunxi's fate aside, the future of the Bai family would be under Zhu Gaoge's control. Zhu Gaoge even wanted the inheritance that the Bai family's true immortals had accumulated for generations. Therefore, Bai Yunxi absolutely could not agree to this matter. Zhu Gaoge's expression darkened as he said coldly, "The Bai clan is now in a difficult situation. Without my help, the Bai clan will not be able to defeat the Kai clan. If the Bai clan loses in the Emperor Road battle arena, the Sky Bamboo clan will have to reconsider if the Bai clan is qualified to continue controlling the White Phoenix continent." "You still want to threaten me?" Bai Yunxi's face turned even uglier. "I'm just stating the truth," Zhu Gaoge said indifferently. "If I marry Bai Shuang, I'll be the son-in-law of the Bai clan. In the future, no one will dare to behave atrociously in the Bai clan's territory. Moreover, I promise that I'll find some elixirs that can prolong the Bai clan's old ancestors' life." I'll report this matter to the old ancestor and let him make the decision, Bai Yunxi replied. Zhu Gaoji's face darkened. The Bai clan's old ancestor was in seclusion and it was impossible for him to come out. Now, Bai Yunxi was in charge of all matters in the Bai clan. If Bai Yunxi did not agree, he could not force Bai Yunxi to marry him. After all, the Bai clan was a subordinate force of the Sky Bamboo clan. They had been paying tribute to the Sky Bamboo clan for hundreds of thousands of years. If the Bai clan were to fall, the Sky Bamboo clan's reputation would be damaged if news of this were to spread. Zhu Gaogu was furious. Then, he saw Su Yan who was standing beside Bai Shuang and said coldly, I heard from Elder Zhu Xiangming that you've offended an expert from the sovereign sect? Is there such a thing? Su Yan said indifferently, I've offended many people. May I know who you're referring to? A rogue cultivator is a rogue cultivator. Zhu Gaogu looked at Bai Yunxi and sneered, Give up on me and place your hopes on a rogue cultivator. What fate does your Bai clan have? You really don't know when to stop. You don't have to worry about that, Bai Yunxi replied calmly. Haha, don't be so sure. Take your time to consider my conditions. In the end, Zhu Gaogu used his gaze to inspect Bai Yunxi's figure and appearance. It was as if he was appreciating a toy. He said with a smile, Of course, when the day comes, I'll increase the price. Zhu Gaogu left, leaving behind an old man with an arrogant expression. The old man glanced at Bai Yunxi and frowned. Bai Yunxi is a smart person. He should know Zhu Gaoji's identity. Even if he wants to marry you two sisters, so what? Can it be compared to the survival of the Bai clan? There are some things that should be paid. Why must a woman put up a strong front? You're also his lobbyist? Bai Yunxi said with a cold expression. I'm just speaking casually. Qi Linyu said arrogantly, I'm a consecrator of the Sky Bamboo clan. Your Bai clan has requested assistance from the Sky Bamboo clan, and I've accepted the task to teach you a set of joint attack formations. Qi Linyu's expression was extremely arrogant. He was a formation master, and a small place like the Bai clan was beneath his notice. If it weren't for the generous reward, he wouldn't have come to such a small place. When do we start? Bai Yunxi asked. Let's start now. Qi Linyu waved his hand impatiently. Whether they can learn it or not will depend on their talent. A bullshit formation master. How arrogant. Su Yan shook his head. The Bai clan was in a difficult situation now. They had requested assistance from the Sky Bamboo clan, and in the end, a great god came. Although Bai Yunxi was unhappy, he didn't dare to make a fuss. Soon, the 10 immortals of the Bai clan gathered in the training hall. The black-faced man and the others obviously ostracized Su Yan and didn't want to stand with him. Qi Linyu snorted at Su Yan. What could a rogue cultivator know? He probably wouldn't even be able to learn it. One had to admit that the joint attack formation that Qi Linyu had imparted to the 10 of them was quite impressive. However, when the lesson ended, Su Yan felt a chill run down his spine. Qi Linyu still had a trick up his sleeve. He didn't teach the 10 immortals all the transformations of the joint attack formation. With Su Yan's attainment in the occult arts, he could tell that there were more advanced techniques to this formation, but Qi Linyu didn't plan to teach them. 300 immortal herbs are in this old man's hands? He still has a trick up his sleeve. Su Yan was a little jealous. Wasn't this too easy? If he revealed his identity as an 8th-grade occult arts grandmaster, he would probably become the guest of honor of all the major sects. Alright, you guys should study this 10 gates Qinkuan formation. If there's anything you don't understand, feel free to ask me. Qi Linyu squinted his eyes, looking drowsy. He wanted to complete the mission as soon as possible and leave the Bai clan with the herbs. On the other hand, Jing Fu and the others treated Qi Linyu like a deity. They were flattering him, praising how good his planning skills were and how profound Qi Linyu's methods were. Jing Fu and the others were obviously sucking up to Qi Linyu. Qi Linyu enjoyed it very much and was all smiles. This rogue cultivator. When Qi Linyu saw Su Yan leaving without a word, his face darkened. He shook his head and thought to himself, a rogue cultivator will always be a rogue cultivator. He has no future and won't do anything. Jing Fu said coldly, Sir, why do you care about a rogue cultivator? I think he's just a rogue cultivator. He didn't know what to say and was afraid of being embarrassed. That's why he left in shame. You're right. Qi Linyu's mood swings. He smiled and said, My joint attack formation has many transformations. As long as you practice it diligently, you'll definitely win in the Emperor Road's battle arena. Come, let me show it to you again. Thank you, sir. Jing Fu and the others grinned excitedly as if they had found a treasure. He left? Bai Yunxi frowned slightly and looked at Su Yan's back. She also felt that the 10 Gates Qian Kuan formation was extraordinary and could increase their combat strength. However, why did Su Yan leave? Although she had only known Su Yan for a short time, she felt that Su Yan was a mystery. There was more to him than meets the eye. What was the bloody path? It was a training ground filled with lives. It was extremely bloody and cruel. Bai Yunxi had secretly investigated Xia Kunlun. As far as she knew, Xia Kunlun had killed no less than 100 Immortal Realm cultivators in the bloody path in half a year. What did that mean? To Bai Yunxi, Xia Kunlun was a killer. His talent and comprehension were probably very high. Otherwise, Bai Yunxi would not have promised Su Yan the position of chief consecrator. Time flew by. In the blink of an eye, 10 days had passed. On this day, the sound of bells rang in the Bai clan's ancestral land. It's finally begun. In the secret palace, Su Yan stretched and stood up. He pushed the door open and walked out. Not far away, he had already seen Bai Yunxi's 9 Immortal Realm cultivators. Their auras were very strong, and they were all at the 7th or 8th Immortal Realm. Only Bai Lianggong and Jing Fu were at the 9th Immortal Realm. Su Yan walked over and joined the crowd. There were also gloomy eyes looking over. Qi Lin said unkindly, Not bad, kid. I've taught you for 10 days and you didn't come for a single day. Once there's a flaw in the 10 Gates Qian Kuan formation on the stage and the enemy finds an opportunity to break it, I'll see how I'm going to explain it. Don't worry about it, Su Yan said indifferently. Qi Lin glared at Su Yan. Just as he was about to speak, Bai Yunxi's aura gradually grew stronger and suppressed the crowd. Although she was a woman, her essence, qi, and spirit were too strong. She was like a female general, flowing with a strong battle intent that soared into the sky. We will win this battle. Everyone in the Bai clan roared. Their voices were like thunder, exploding in the sky and scattering the clouds. Let's go. Bai Yunxi shouted coldly. Her aura was getting stronger. Although Jing Fu and the others were at the 9th Immortal Realm, they were much weaker in front of Bai Yunxi, who was at the 8th Immortal Realm. The 10 Immortal Realm cultivators rushed out of White Phoenix City and headed toward the Emperor Road's battle platform. The Emperor Road's battle platform announced the end of the year. There were only 3 days left until the end. Chapter 1402. The huge floating battle platform reeked of blood. After a year of fighting, no one who could truly dominate the battle platform had appeared. The Kai clan's people are here, but the Bai clan's people aren't here yet. I wonder who will win this battle. Isn't that obvious? Kai Yuan from the Kai family has unearthed his immortal potential and even reached the 9th heaven of the Immortal Realm. He is truly an immortal overlord. Although Bai Yunxi's combat strength is extraordinary, she has yet to reach the peak of the Immortal Realm. The onlookers discussed among themselves. The 9 Immortal Realm experts from the Kai family all had powerful auras. 4 of them were 9th Heaven Peak experts. Kai Yuan is here too. At that moment, a figure rushed over from afar. It was as if a chaotic star was charging over, shaking the heavens and earth. Many women's eyes lit up. Kai Yuanxiong was the ruler of White Phoenix Continent and was the #1 youth of his generation. With such status, it was hard for him not to draw attention. Although White Phoenix Continent was a barren continent, he was still able to deter the geniuses of a continent. He was a true pride of heaven. Kai Yuan put his hands behind his back and looked down at the crowd, exuding a mighty aura. He looked at the 10 Immortal Realm experts who came from afar with a hint of coldness in his eyes. When he noticed Bai Yunxi, who was leading the group, Kai Yuan's eyes burned with desire. Kai Yuan had been eyeing Bai Yunxi for a long time. If he won the Emperor Road battle platform, the Kai family would become the overlord of the White Phoenix continent. By then, Bai Yunxi would be at his mercy. Thinking of this, Kai Yuan smiled gently. Miss Bai Yunxi, I've been waiting here for a long time. This battle was supposed to begin half a year ago. I'm sure Miss Bai Yunxi knows why it has been delayed until now. If you and I join forces, we'll definitely be a legend in the White Phoenix continent. The crowd was in an uproar. Kai Yuan's public display of affection had caused an uproar among the onlookers. Some of the women also lost their colors. Compared to Bai Yunxi, they were indeed not qualified to be mentioned in the same breath. Yunxi must not lose this battle. The group of elders from the Bai family looked gloomy. The tension between the two sides was thick. Cut the crap. Let's go. Bai Yunxi stepped onto the fighting ring with a cold expression. Zhu Gaoga suddenly sent a voice transmission to Bai Yunxi saying, Bai Yunxi, my words will end here. I hope you can make a decision that will satisfy me. Once the Kai clan wins in the battle arena, my clan will think that the Bai clan is unable to control the White Phoenix continent. We will support the Kai clan. Zhu Gaogu, you must be dreaming. Bai Yunxi's jade-like hands suddenly clenched tightly. To her, and even to the entire Bai family, this battle was too important. If they lost, the Bai family would face the risk of being exterminated. Young master, I don't think Bai Yunxi will agree so easily. Outside the battle stage, not only did Zhu Gaogu come, Zhu Xiangming also came. He sneered and said, This woman is really out of her mind. With young master's status, what kind of woman can he not have? Young master, you're giving her face. The Bai clan is only a subordinate of our clan. You have to teach them a lesson. Qi Linyu also stepped forward to show his loyalty. How dare a small Kai clan fight over a woman with the young master? You're courting death. Zhu Xiangming laughed. Qi Linyu probably didn't know that Zhu Gaogu came for Bai Shuangshuang, and Bai Yunxi was just an accessory. Kai Yuan, a young overlord? Zhu Gaogu shook his head and said disdainfully, What immortal overlord? Without the life essence evolution drug, even if you rely on your own immortal potential, it will be difficult for you to become an overlord. You are still lacking. Life essence evolution medicine? Qi Linyu was stunned. Qi Linyu, there are some things that you don't understand. This is something only the core members of the immortal sects are qualified to know. Zhu Xiangming said, Young master once took a rank 6 evolution medicine and excavated an extremely terrifying life essence to strengthen himself. Outsiders only know that one can become an immortal overlord by relying on their own immortal potential, but they don't know about the existence of the life essence evolution medicine. Even if you rely on external forces to mature your body, if you're lucky enough to obtain a life essence evolution medicine, it's enough to strengthen your immortal potential. There's such a miraculous medicine in this world? Qi Linyu was deeply shocked. This was the first time he heard of it. Of course, Zhu Xiangming would not explain it to Qi Linyu in detail. This was a small secret among the immortal sects, and it was not widely known yet. Even if it was spread out, the small sects would not be able to afford it. 1. The suspended Emperor Road battle platform released its God Order chains, and the battle platform began to seal itself. It was impossible for anyone else to get on the platform. Swish, 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 swish. 20 immortals from the Kai family and the Bai family charged toward the battle platform. The powerful beings from both sides unleashed their full power. Divine light shot into the sky, and one after another, they unleashed their blood essence and pierced through the sky. Immortals were also powerful beings in the immortal heavenly domain. 20 immortals unleashed their full power, and their divine light pierced through the void. The 10 immortals from the Bai family were fully awakened. They activated the supreme killing formation and charged toward the Kai family. This brat, Qi Linyu's expression was a little strange. He thought that Su Yan had not learned the 10 gates Qian Kuan formation, but he was stunned. He was a formation master, so he could naturally see the formation patterns manifested by Su Yan's body. They were exquisite. Even the formation patterns inscribed by Bai Yunxi were not as exquisite as those inscribed by Su Yan. Qi Linyu even felt that it was difficult for him to inscribe such exquisite formation patterns. Xia Kunlun Yu Jingfu's expression changed. He thought that Xia Kunlun would embarrass himself, but he was embarrassed instead. He had humiliated Su Yan for the past few days, and now he was slapping himself in the face. Young master, that's Xia Kunlun. Zhu Xiangming pointed at Su Yan and sneered. He offended the sovereign sect and was rejected by me. I didn't expect the Bai family to be so bold as to take on such a hot potato. The sovereign sect doesn't need to be so calculative with an ant. Zhu Gaoga shook his head. What can Xia Kunlun do? He's just a rogue cultivator. As long as the Bai family loses the Emperor Road battle platform, I can find an excuse to ask my father to punish the Bai family. Who was Zhu Lihui? Not to mention the Bai family, even 10 Bai families added together would not be enough to defeat him. The 10 Immortal Realm experts of the Bai family formed a joint attack. The moment they formed the 10 gates Qiankuan formation, the Qiankuan power was unleashed and suppressed the Kai family experts. Boom! The Emperor Road battle platform shook as the Qiankuan power tore the void apart and suppressed the Immortal Realm expert. Bai Yunxi, you think too much. Do you think you can defeat the Emperor Road battle platform with the 10 gates Qiankuan formation alone? Kai Yuan sneered. The other 9 Immortal Realm experts were also very calm. They were not intimidated by the formation. Bai Yunxi's face darkened. How did the Kai family know about the 10 gates Qiankuan formation? Immediately after, the 10 Immortal Realm experts of the Kai family glowed and formed the same mysterious formation patterns. When they intertwined, the divine power that was formed was like a vast ocean. In an instant, the Qiankuan power that was suppressing the Qiankuan power was forcefully resisted. Bastard, the Kai family's formation can suppress the Qiankuan formation. This is not a coincidence. Bai Yunxi was furious. He looked at Zhu Gaoga and saw him smiling at him. This made Bai Yunxi's face turn pale. He said angrily, "How shameless! The vast ocean formation is the nemesis of the 10 gates Qiankuan formation." Qi Linyu's face turned ugly. According to the agreement, if the 10 gates Qiankuan formation worked, he would get 300 immortal grade herbs. Now, he was afraid that he would not get anything. Don't worry. Once the young master's wish is fulfilled, he will compensate you. Zhu Xiangming laughed sinisterly. Thank you, young master. Qi Linyu heaved a sigh of relief. He felt a chill in his heart. Zhu Gaoga was really sinister. If the higher-ups of Sky Bamboo found out about this, Zhu Gaoga would not be able to bear the consequences. Colluding with foreign enemies was not a small crime. Although the Bai family was a subsidiary clan, it would affect Zhu Gaoga greatly if this matter was blown out of proportion. The Kai family seems to have taken precautions. They know about the Bai family's trump card. Some people gasped. They were having difficulty breathing and felt dizzy. The vast ocean formation was extremely powerful. It was famous for its magic power and could suppress the Qiankuan formation. Boom! On the battle stage, sounds of killing rolled and divine energy surged. Terrifying waves split the sky. The Qiankuan formation trembled and the 10 immortals could not stand still. Not good! Jing Fu was terrified. It was as if he saw the vast ocean formation penetrating the Qiankuan formation and crushing them into ashes. You must stop it. Bai Yunxi stared angrily and shouted to calm Bai Lianggong and the others down. The 10 immortals of the Bai family awakened again and activated the 10 gates Qiankuan formation to stop the vast ocean formation. This is bad. The Bai family elder's face turned ugly. The vast ocean formation had penetrated the Qiankuan formation. The moment the terrifying divine energy came crashing down, some of the immortals trembled as if they had been hit by a giant bell. Their bodies were about to explode. Some experts coughed up blood as the formation runes covering their bodies began to blur. Once these people could not hold on, the 10 gates Qiankuan formation would have many holes. The vast ocean formation was all-pervasive, and even more divine energy came crashing down. The scene was extremely spectacular. It was as if the Milky Way was falling from the sky to destroy the 10 immortals. Zhu Gaoga. Bai Yunxi's eyes were red as she glared at Zhu Gaoga. Zhu Gaoga was calm as he waited for Bai Yunxi to give in. If she submitted to him, he would directly attack and suppress the Bai family's expert. This was the perfect ending in his mind. I can't take it anymore. Some of the immortals of the Bai family were terrified. They felt like they were going to be beaten to death. Their mentality had completely changed. Su Yan's face darkened as he said, "Everyone, don't panic. Activate the formation runes on your bodies. Although the vast ocean formation is powerful, the 10 gates Qiankuan formation is not unbreakable." Xia Kunlun, what are you doing? Why are you still causing trouble? Jing Fu shouted angrily. Can't you see that the opponent's formation is suppressing the Qiankuan formation? Idiots, do you all want to die on the battle stage? Su Yan's eyes flashed coldly. His calm words were like thunder from the 9 heavens, exploding in their ears. They were so shocked that they almost fell to the ground. Jing Fu trembled as if he had seen a ghost. He felt that Su Yan was like a prehistoric beast with a murderous aura that could kill them in a single blow. Listen to Xia Kunlun's command. Bai Yunxi's heart was filled with hope. The 9 immortal realm experts no longer hesitated and communicated with the formation runes covering their bodies. It was also at this moment that strands of terrifying soul energy penetrated their sea of consciousness in a domineering manner and began to control their minds. Suddenly, the formation runes covering the 10 immortal realm experts' bodies rearranged and projected the vast Qiankuan formation runes. Soon, a Qiankuan beast was outlined in the void. It shone with a golden light and surged with a tide of energy that spread out in all directions. Qi Linyu was shocked. What was going on? He had not even studied the final transformation of the 10 gates Qiankuan formation, but how did Bai Yunxi and the others perform it? Roar! The Qiankuan beast roared at the sky. Its roar was like thunder. Immortal substances came out of its mouth and nose like millions of mountains crashing forward, crushing a corner of the vast ocean formation. The terrifying aura filled the air, suffocating and trembling everyone. No! The 2 immortal realm experts cried out, but they could not stop it. The corner of the vast ocean formation crumbled, and the heavy light struck the 2 immortal realm experts. They were no match for it. Blood spurted from their mouths and noses, and their bodies trembled as they fell to the ground. Su Yan stood between heaven and earth, controlling the 9 immortal realm experts. He gathered the Qiankuan beast again, and its roar shook the entire Emperor Road battle stage. As for the vast ocean formation, it was riddled with holes. The rolling Qiankuan tide turned into a killing force that bombarded the vast ocean formation and the 8 immortal realm experts. Chapter 1403. In the suspended battle platform, the thunderous roar shook the heavens and earth. The Qiankuan beast roared continuously, shattering space and time. Waves of energy blasted the 10 imperishable immortals. The faces of the Kai clan elders changed drastically. How could something so ridiculous happen? The vast ocean formation was broken, and the Qian Kuan beast even sent the imperishable immortals flying one after another, losing their ability to fight. Bastard! The patriarch of the Kai clan said angrily, "Damn it! Didn't they say that the vast ocean formation could break the 10 Qian Kuan formations? Did we fall for their trick? How can this formation be so overbearing?" Some of the Kai clan's formation masters looked terrible. Who could control such an exquisite combination of formations? According to their intelligence, none of the experts recruited by the Bai clan were proficient in formations. At this moment, many people focused their attention on Xia Kunlun. He stood calmly between heaven and earth, controlling the power of the 9 imperishable immortals formation runes and the Qian Kuan beast, crushing the 5 imperishable immortals. Other than Kai Yuan, the rest were all severely injured. How could it be him? That wild cultivator! The second elder of the Kai clan was so angry that his lungs were trembling. A few days ago, he had mocked Su Yen for not being worth 100 imperishable herbs, but now, he felt his face burning. Could he be an Array Dao Grandmaster? Zhu Xiangming's expression was uncertain. Xia Kunlun, whom he had rejected, was actually a formation master. Qi Linyu wanted to cry, but no tears came out. He never thought that Su Yan's mastery of formations would be so profound that he could break the vast ocean formation with brute force. This kind of person could do well even in the immortal orthodoxy. Did he really think that the ultimate transformation of the 10 gates Qian Kuan formation was so easy to master? If one could master it and use it to perfection, they would definitely have extraordinary achievements in the field of formations. What a wild cultivator! This is beyond my expectations. Zhu Gaoga's expression did not change. He did not expect Xia Kunlun to be the one to break the formation, but the Kai clan was not defeated yet. After all, the 10 gates Qian Kuan formation went berserk one after another, causing the Bai clan to suffer great losses. "I can't take it anymore. Stop," Jing Fu complained. Bai Lianggong and the others also suffered great losses. Su Yen broke the vast ocean formation with brute force, so he had to pay a price. Other than Bai Yunxi and Su Yen, the rest of the imperishable immortals were greatly weakened. Kai Yuan's sinister gaze glanced at Su Yen as he suppressed the shock and anger in his heart. Following which, his gaze landed on Bai Yunxi as he coldly said, "Bai Yunxi, you have really exceeded my expectations. However, what does a formation master count for? I'm afraid he doesn't have much combat power." He walked step by step towards Bai Yunxi, his aura surging. 9 levels of undying energy burst forth. His undying energy was incredibly powerful. "The key to victory is still you and me." Kai Yuan sneered. "You delayed for half a year, wanting to find a powerful foreign aid. What a pity." Yun Immortals. Was. Bai Yun. Bai Yunxi's eyes were filled with mockery. Her aura gradually grew stronger, and 8 layers of aura burst out. However, her aura once again grew stronger, and suddenly soared to the 9th heavenly layer. The whole place was in an uproar. Bai Yunxi was also a level 9 immortal. Everyone was shocked. It was difficult to advance one level in the immortal realm, especially from level 8 to level 9. However, no one had expected that Bai Yunxi had already cultivated to this stage. Level 9 Immortal Realm. Kai Yuan's face darkened. He said coldly, "So what? You just broke through a few days ago. How strong can you be?" "We'll find out after we try." Bai Yunxi clenched her fist. Her slender body glowed brightly with immortal substance. Her aura was vast, and she had the demeanor of an overlord. Obviously, Kai Yuan's aura was stronger than Bai Yunxi's. The moment the two immortal energies collided on the Emperor Road battle platform, violent waves surged out from the battle platform, piercing through the clouds in the sky and causing the heavens and earth to tremble. Bam! The two powerful cultivators clashed like lightning, exchanging blows on the Emperor Road battle platform. "Kill!" Bai Lianggong roared. The 8 Immortal Realm cultivators rushed toward the 4 Kai family elites who were severely injured. Their eyes flashed fiercely. They only needed to kill Kai Yuan's right-hand men to get rid of them. They could buy time to join forces with Bai Yunxi to suppress Kai Yuan. Bai Yunxi, I won't give the Bai family any time to breathe. Everything will end soon. You can't defeat me. Even if I give you a few more years, you won't be able to do it. Kai Yuan's aura was getting more and more intimidating. The moment he clashed with Bai Yunxi, his palm suddenly rose and covered the sky. Immortal aura was vaguely released. Immortal Path secret technique. The onlookers were shocked. It was just the beginning. Was he going to fight to the death? The Kai family had a true immortal, so they naturally had their own Immortal Path secret technique. Kai Yuan's palm was huge, and the light of order flowed. It was an Immortal Path palm technique. It suppressed a part of the Qian Kuan world and even enveloped Bai Yunxi. Sister, be careful. Both of them shouted nervously. After all, Kai Yuan was much stronger than Bai Yunxi. Now, with the help of the Immortal Path secret technique, this palm was even more terrifying. The moment it slammed down, the void exploded. Layers of palm prints hit Bai Yunxi. Suddenly, Bai Yunxi's aura changed drastically. The light of order gushed out of his pores and intertwined into a huge white phoenix at an extremely fast speed. Immortal Path secret technique, White Phoenix descends. Bai Yunxi roared. His entire body and the white phoenix became one. He released the strongest life force and attacked the layers of palm prints falling from the sky. Heavenly Essence Palm. Kai Yuan sneered. The heavy palm prints overlapped and formed a huge palm that covered the sky. Bam! The white phoenix made of order was beaten until it wailed. Its body was twisting and it was about to explode. White phoenix spreads its wings. Bai Yunxi roared. The snow-white phoenix shone brightly and suddenly spread its wings. It was as if 2 sword embryos were born. Its bright feathers rippled with terrifying waves and suddenly split open the heavenly essence palm. But the white phoenix was also wailing, and its wings were also broken. Although her ultimate technique surpassed the heavenly essence palm, the price to break this move was extremely heavy. Kill! Bai Yunxi let out a long howl and pounced on Kai Yuan, killing his way to the front. Kiki! Just when Bai Yunxi was in front of Kai Yuan, his aura changed. Dense chaotic light rose from his body and circulated around his body. It scattered a vast expanse of chaotic light. This was an earth-shattering divine ability. The sky was filled with chaotic runes accompanied by immortal energy. It outlined an ancient chaotic armor that flowed with divine demonic light. It was inexplicably terrifying. Kai Yuan, who was wearing the chaotic armor, had an extremely powerful aura. He punched and broke Bai Yunxi's jade-like hand. Her body flew out violently. Zhu Gaoga could no longer sit still. He suddenly stood up with a gloomy expression. This is the Chaotic Grotto Heaven's secret technique, the chaotic armor. The entire place was in an uproar. The Primal Chaos Heavenly Abode was an immortal sect, and the Primal Chaos Armor was even more famous. It was said that once the Primal Chaos Armor was formed, its defensive power would skyrocket, and it could even increase one's combat power. In short, this kind of secret technique was extremely rare and precious. It was a secret technique of the Chaotic Grotto Heaven. But how did Kai Yuan control the chaotic armor? Young master, this is bad. The Kai family must be a force supported by the Chaotic Grotto Heaven. They want to get their hands on the White Phoenix continent. Zhu Xiangming's expression changed. This was not the first time this had happened. The death of the Sky Bamboo progenitor had aroused some suspicions from the other immortal sections. Factions like the Chaos Paradise were only probing the waters. If the rumors were true, then the rich continents under the Sky Bamboo's command would be their primary target. Kiki, Bai Yunxi, oh Bai Yunxi. Let's see what you have to fight me now. Kai Yuan wore the ancient chaotic armor, which made him look like a chaotic divine demon. He laughed angrily. Your Bai family has controlled the White Phoenix continent for hundreds of thousands of years. It's time for a change of master. In your dreams. Bai Yunshi was furious. Once he lost his position as the master of the continent, the Bai family's old ancestor would not be able to hold on much longer. By then, their Bai family would be reduced to a small force at the bottom of the hierarchy. They would be in danger of being destroyed at any time. Beauty, I can't bear to kill you. As long as you obey me, the Bai family will be safe. Kai Yuan de laughed. He wore the ancient chaotic armor. His aura was at its peak. Just this defensive power alone was not something Bai Yunshi could break. Otherwise, Kai Yuan looked down at Bai Yunshi and said coldly, "Only death awaits you. Kong Yuan, are you treating the other 9 immortals as heir?" Su Yen walked over and helped the heavily injured Bai Yunshi up. "You wild cultivator. I haven't found the time to kill you, and you dare to jump out yourself." Kong Yuan's expression was dark. He said, "I'll give you 2 choices. Kneel and submit to me, or I'll cripple you." Su Yen waved his hand and interrupted Kong Yuan. He said calmly, "I don't like to make choices. Just attack." "Xia Kunlun, you." Bai Yunshi's expression was not normal. She admitted that Xia Kunlun had some tricks up his sleeve. However, Kong Yuan had mastered the chaotic armor. Who could defeat him? "Seems like you've chosen to be crippled." Kai Yuan's tone was dark. He suddenly punched out. The chaotic armor on his body vibrated, and a chaotic light beam burst out. "Xia Kunlun, be careful." Bai Shuang was frightened. She did not expect him to stand out directly. In front of Kai Yuan's peerless strength, Su Yen was really weak. However, someone saw him waving his fist and smashing it towards Kai Yuan's fist. Many people felt that this person was most likely courting death. However, the moment their fists collided, a deafening explosion occurred in the void. Everyone was stunned. Su Yen blocked it. "I've underestimated you." Kai Yuan's expression changed. His aura also rose sharply. The chaotic armor flashed with bright runes, supporting his body and increasing his strength. I didn't expect Kai Yuan to have cultivated the chaotic armor to such a level. With this secret technique in hand, just relying on defense alone is enough to make people of the same generation despair. The Kai family's experts laughed. They felt that the outcome was already decided. "Kill!" Kai Yuan roared angrily and rushed towards Su Yen. His entire fist flowed with chaotic runes. When it gushed out, it was blazing and overflowing. It was about to crush the sun, moon, and stars. Facing this attack, Su Yen was expressionless. He waved his fist and punched out. From beginning to end, he was extremely calm. The fist he waved also looked ordinary. However, what stunned everyone was that no matter how strong Kai Yuan's aura was, Su Yen could completely receive it. Kai Yuan waved 3 punches, each stronger than the last. However, he still could not suppress Su Yen. "You!" Kai Yuan's expression was extremely gloomy. He glared at him and said, "Wild cultivator, I admit that you are very strong. However, in the White Phoenix continent, my Kai family is in charge. If you dare to block my path, can you stop the true immortals of my family?" "Are you threatening me?" Su Yen smiled. Kai Yuan said coldly, "Don't doubt my Kai family's ability. My Kai family is a force supported by the chaotic paradise. The Emperor Road battle platform of the White Phoenix continent is mine. If you insist on being stubborn, when the true immortals attack, you won't even know how you died." Kai Yuan did not believe that a wild cultivator would dare to get involved in this mess. "So what if the Kai family's true immortals are? If you dare to provoke me, I'll kill you all the same." Su Yan's eyes widened. He immediately attacked and rushed towards Kai Yuan. His entire aura changed. He was like an eternal and indestructible human emperor, reviving on the river of time and space. Just the spiritual energy emitted from his forehead was terrifying enough to overflow the sky. "What?" Kai Yuan was terrified. The person in front of him was completely different. His vitality was more turbulent than the sea. His life essence was unparalleled. He was completely an overlord. Heavens! Someone exclaimed. The undying beings on the battle platform were trembling. They had goosebumps all over their bodies. Was this still a weak wild cultivator? The ferocious flames surged to the sky. Even the powerful Kai Yuan was trembling. This person was unbeatable. He had seen the legacy disciples of the chaotic paradise, but they could not be compared to him. Boom. In the end, Kai Yuan was in a daze. His body was in extreme pain from the punch. He felt like he was going to explode. His soul was trembling. He did not even have time to scream. He felt like he was going to die. His life essence was evaporating. However, Su Yan's outburst also awakened something. A majestic and ancient list quietly appeared on the Emperor Road's battle stage. Chapter 1404. Monarch Ranking. Look, it's the monarch ranking of our White Phoenix continent. Countless people were overwhelmed with emotions as they cried out continuously. Their emotions were about to explode. The White Phoenix continent had existed for countless years, but the monarch ranking had only appeared once in a long time, and it was a pitiful one. But now, the monarch ranking had appeared, and it was about to reflect a person. As a matter of fact, the monarch ranking no longer belonged to Su Yan alone. In the past year, it had appeared countless times. Especially during this period, there would be thousands of people leaving their names on the monarch ranking every day. The immortal heavenly domain was just too big. There were countless experts. In addition to the geniuses from the various universes in the void, there would always be more than a few 100,000 people in the first round of the monarch ranking. Those who left their names on the monarch ranking were glorious, and their names would spread across more than 10 continents. It was also a symbol of their status. Once the monarch ranking was nominated, they would surely be recruited by the immortal sex to prepare for the upcoming competition. Of course, even if they were not nominated, they would still be qualified to participate in the competition. However, the competition was relatively cruel, and only those who could sweep across the world would have the chance to make a name for themselves. Buzz! Far away in the heavenly bamboo continent, a space-time mirror emitted a divine glow, and a beam of light flew into a meeting hall. The meeting hall was occupied by the experts of the older generation of the heavenly bamboo continent. Their identities were not to be underestimated. Most of them were elders, and some were even old ancestors. The monarch ranking has appeared in the continents under our jurisdiction again. The experts of the heavenly bamboo continent were filled with anticipation. Once the monarch ranking appeared in the continents under their jurisdiction, there would be no doubt that a shocking genius would walk out. Even if the monarch ranking appeared, it would be impressive. What? White Phoenix continent? What continent is that? Some of the elders were confused. They knew the names of the continents under their jurisdiction, but where was the White Phoenix continent? White Phoenix continent, it's a barren continent under our jurisdiction. Could it be that the White Phoenix continent has produced an incredible genius? An elder was surprised and quickly said, according to the information from the mirror, the monarch ranking has appeared, but there is no name left. This means that his potential is still lacking. Even so, it was already impressive. After all, the White Phoenix continent was a barren continent. If the heavenly bamboo continent's experts were recruited, they might be able to nurture a capable general. We can't neglect this matter. A heavenly bamboo continent's genius from a barren continent. The silent old ancestor opened his eyes and said, "Go and investigate carefully. If he really is a genius from our clan's subsidiary clans, bring him directly to our clan. The 10,000 tribe battlefield is about to open. Our clan is in dire need of generals." This was a matter of great importance. The Sky Bamboo faction had to be fully prepared. Over the past few days, they had received many geniuses from their vassal clans. They had even taken out rare resources to nurture them. In short, the Sky Bamboo faction was prepared to spend a fortune to nurture a group of geniuses who could dominate a region. They would be able to prepare for the upcoming mission. This is ridiculous. On the Emperor Road's battle stage in the White Phoenix continent, Zhu Gaogo was furious. Why would the monarch ranking appear? Although the monarch ranking appeared in a flash, the Heavenly Bamboo continent's experts would be the first to know. It would not be long before the Heavenly Bamboo continent's experts would descend on the White Phoenix continent. He knew very well that the Heavenly Bamboo continent's experts wanted young Heavenly Bamboo continent's experts. The resources they offered made him extremely jealous. The monarch ranking. It's really the monarch ranking. The Kai clan leader laughed. It must be Kai Yuan who lured it out. If his strength is even more shocking, he will definitely be able to get the monarch ranking. He will definitely attract the attention of the monarch board and obtain the qualifications to be nominated. At that time, Kai Yuan will definitely become the successor of the primal chaos paradise. What did that mean? Kai Yuan would become a big shot in an immortal orthodoxy. Even the Kai clan's status would rise along with him. The White Phoenix continent was in an uproar. No one expected the monarch ranking to appear in the Emperor Road's battle stage. Who lured it out? Some people were suspicious. Why was it Kai Yuan and not Xia Kunlun? The Kai clan leader said excitedly, Kai Yuan, get down from the battle stage immediately. You can fight him after you've recovered. That's right, Kai Yuan. You've used up a lot of energy in your battle with Bai Yunxi. If you can recover to your peak state, you'll have a high chance of getting the monarch rankings nomination. The Kai clan's elders laughed excitedly and urged Kai Yuan to get down from the battle stage immediately. Some of them even prepared secret recovery medicine. Su Yan shook his head and laughed. He walked down from the Emperor Road's battle stage step by step. Su Yan had already received the monarch rankings reflection once. He would not be able to get it a second time. Moreover, he had already been nominated. Therefore, the monarch ranking soon disappeared. Wild cultivator, what are you laughing at? The Kai clan leader said eerily, the battle isn't over yet. Shouldn't you wait for the two of you to reach your peak state before fighting? Or should I say, you can just surrender now? Su Yan looked at the Kai clan's elders as if he was looking at an idiot. He laughed and said, ask him if he can continue? It was a rather strange sentence which made the onlookers here stunned. Some people looked at Kai Yuan. At first, they thought that Kai Yuan was very calm. Soon, he got up and walked down from the battle stage. However, before he could take more than 10 steps, he really couldn't take it anymore. He knelt on the ground with one knee, and the chaos armor that he was wearing shattered into pieces. His exposed body was trembling. Barf! In the end, Kai Yuan spat out a mouthful of blood. It was not just one mouthful. He spat out more than 10 mouthfuls of blood that he had been suppressing. Some of them even contained broken bones and flesh. Kai Yuan's appearance was too miserable. He was trembling and did not dare to look at Su Yan. He could not say a word. Kai Yuan. The entire Kai clan was scared out of their wit. What was going on? The spectators were shocked. Kai Yuan was severely injured and could not get up. He fell into a pool of blood. Finally, he pointed at Su Yan and said, Who are you? Xia Kunlun. Su Yan said calmly. Then, he left the Emperor Road battle stage and said to the petrified by clan Grand Elder, Grand Elder, are these 100 immortal grade herbs worth the price? Yes, it's too worth it. The Bai clan Grand Elder stammered. His eyes were filled with shock. He did not see the battle clearly. He only saw Kai Yuan being defeated. How did Su Yan do it? Who saw it clearly? Bai Yunxi's beautiful eyes looked at Su Yan. She was a little complicated and also a little surprised. Stop right there. The Kai clan leader was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. Kai Yuan seemed to have been crippled. All his bones were broken, and he could not even stand up. The Kai family head was furious. His eyes were filled with sorrow as he glared at Su Yan and said, "You actually dared to do such a vicious thing. You must pay the price." "How dare you? The Kai clan is so bold." Zhu Gaogu stood up and glared at the Kai family people. "How dare you say something like that in front of me? Do you think that the Sky Bamboo family doesn't exist?" he scolded. "Don't think that just because you have the support of the Chaos Grotto Heaven, you can do whatever you want in the Sky Bamboo clan's territory. Get lost if you don't want to die." The Kai clan was thunderstruck. They did not forget that this was their territory. Now that Xia Kunlun had won the Emperor Road battle stage and even attracted the attention of the Emperor Board, the Sky Bamboo clan would definitely take him seriously. Although the Kai clan had a true immortal expert, they did not dare to offend an immortal orthodoxy. "This despicable person." Bai Yunxi snorted. She was relieved. "Bai Yunxi, come and talk." Zhu Gaoga suppressed his anger and beckoned Bai Yunxi. "This kid knows when to yield. I'd like to see how long you can live." Su Yan's eyes flashed coldly. He thought to himself, "Zhu Li Hui's son, Zhu Gaoga. I'm going to kill him." If it were not for the Bai clan, Su Yan would have killed him long ago. Now that he had achieved his goal, he only needed to sneak into the Sky Bamboo clan to complete his next series of major events. The higher-ups of the Sky Bamboo clan are already aware of the Emperor Board's appearance. I wonder how many days it will take for the important figures of your clan to arrive at the White Phoenix continent. Bai Yunxi stared at Zhu Gaoga and said coldly, "When the time comes, it'll be best for the Bai clan to welcome them." Hearing this, Zhu Gaoga smiled. "Bai Yunxi, you're a smart person. I may have lost this time, but even if you make a big deal out of this, I'll just be punished. As long as you keep your mouth shut, I'll be spared some trouble." Zhu Gaoga stopped smiling and said coldly, "I won't be calculative with you. Let's call it quits. What do you think?" "That's easy for you to say." Bai Yunxi sneered, then turned around and left. Zhu Xiangming was worried that Bai Yunxi would not let the matter rest and would expose the matter. However, Zhu Gaoga knew that Bai Yunxi would not be able to threaten him at all. Instead, she would become his enemy. This would not benefit her or the entire Bai clan. At night, White Phoenix City was bustling with noise and excitement. The Bai clan held a banquet and invited the experts of various clans. The Bai clan has found a treasure. Many people were speechless. Xia Kunlun had caused the Kai clan to suffer heavy losses, which was equivalent to getting rid of their greatest threat. Moreover, this person was a rogue cultivator without any faction. Some people thought that Xia Kunlun would most likely stay in the Bai clan. "Mother, this is great. The Kai clan has joined the Chaos Grotto Heaven and their clans have escaped overnight. Their ancestral land has been preserved." Bai Yunxi smiled beautifully. She held an old lady's arm and welcomed the guest. "Where is Kunlun? Why haven't I seen him?" The old lady looked around. "He didn't come?" Bai Yunxi's face glowed with a sweet smile. She looked around in confusion and said, "I guess he doesn't like crowds." Hearing this, the old lady patted Bai Yunxi's hand and said in a low voice, "Yunxi, you're not young anymore. You've been managing the clan's affairs all these years, and you're very brave. I think this Xia Kunlun is not bad." "Mother, what are you talking about?" Bai Yunxi was stunned. She was now the strongest person in the clan other than the Bai clan's patriarch, and shouldered the heavy responsibility of making the clan prosper. The Bai clan had never mentioned marrying her off. "You understand. You should have a man by your side to share your burden." The old lady laughed. Although she had never seen Xia Kunlun, a young expert who could defeat Kai Yuan was no small figure. Bai Yunxi's heartbeat quickened. Her eyes were complicated, and there was even a hint of undetectable anticipation. It was not until midnight that the Bai clan sent off the guests. Bai Yunxi walked alone in the Bai clan's ancestral land. Her face was red and she was a little drunk. Suddenly, Bai Yunxi appeared and disappeared mysteriously and came to Su Yan's secret abode. She bit her red lips and stood outside the secret abode, hesitating for a long time. Finally, she took a deep breath. Just as she was about to knock on the door, she found the door of the secret abode was pushed open. Su Yen looked at Bai Yunxi with a stunned expression. She was wearing a red dress. She was tall and slender, and her skin was snow-white and delicate. She was very feminine. Under the illumination of the night, Bai Yunxi was dazzling. "Miss Yunxi, why are you here in the middle of the night?" Su Yen was surprised. "Aren't you going to invite me in?" Bai Yunxi chuckled. Her voice was soft and very pleasant to the ears. Because she had drunk too much wine, Bai Yunxi had some charm and looked charming. "Please come in," Su Yen smiled bitterly and invited Bai Yunxi in. Chapter 1405. "Young Lady Yunxi, please take a seat." Su Yen greeted Bai Yunxi. Even though he was confused and didn't know why she had come in the middle of the night, Su Yen still had to rely on Bai Yunxi's identity to enter the Heavenly Bamboo Clan. Bai Yunxi sat on the stone bench. She was slightly embarrassed. It was the first time she was alone with a man in her life. Moreover, it was late at night, and she was the one who had taken the initiative to come. She was more or less embarrassed. If the members of the Bai clan saw this scene, she wouldn't be able to count them even if she had 10 mouths. Bai Yunxi's expression was slightly awkward. She paused for a moment and said, "Are you used to living here? You've been in our Bai clan for some time, but we haven't talked much." "I'm used to it." Su Yen smiled. "Young lady is always busy with the clan's affairs. It makes most men feel ashamed." Bai Yunxi smiled bitterly. "Even though our Bai clan has existed for many years, it hasn't produced many experts. It's just a drop in the ocean in the vast eternal heavenly domain. It's not worth mentioning." "I don't understand." Bai Yunxi looked at Su Yen and said, "With your talent, why did you choose our Bai clan? It's not difficult for you to enter an immortal sect." "It's not because I have no choice." Su Yen couldn't help but laugh. "I offended an expert of the sovereign sect during the trial of Blood Path. If you didn't invite me, I wouldn't know where I would be now." "Su!" Bai Yunxi's eyes narrowed slightly as she stared at Su Yen. Su Yen cursed in his heart. "I've seen many storms. How can I fail at such an easy task? I'm too impatient. You're like a ball of mist. I really can't see through you." Bai Yunxi frowned slightly and said, "I don't think you'll stay in the Bai clan forever, right? A man's ambition is to travel far." Su Yen replied, "I have some matters that are very troublesome. I won't stay in the Bai clan for too long so as to avoid causing trouble for your clan." Bai Yunxi's frown deepened. She asked, "Is there anything I can help you with? If you do, feel free to ask. Our clan will forever remember your help to the Bai clan. If there is a need, the Bai clan will naturally not sit idly by." "There are some things that I need to solve myself," Su Yen replied with a smile. "All right." At this time, Bai Yunxi took out a beast skin pouch and handed it to Su Yen. 500. Su Yen was stunned. Inside the beast skin bag, there were a total of 500 stalks of immortal herbs. Bai Yunxi actually gave him so many, this made him extremely surprised. "I have reconciled with Zhu Gaoga, but someone has to take responsibility for the leak of the 10 gates Qianquan formation," Bai Yunxi said proudly. "The 300 stalks are yours now, that old bastard won't dare to say anything. Also, I promised you 50 stalks before, and the extra 100 stalks will be the fee for your help this time. I know it's very little, but our Bai family's storage of immortal medicines is very limited. Don't think it's too little." "How could that be? I'm already very surprised." Su Yen laughed. He was currently penniless and really needed some money. "There's something I'd like to talk to you about." Bai Yunxi told Su Yen about the Sky Bamboo clan. If someone from the clan came, they would definitely invite Su Yen to further his studies. Once the second stage of the Emperor Road battle began, all the major immortal sects and orthodoxies would be in need of manpower. Bai Yunxi guessed that the Sky Bamboo clan would definitely spend a lot of resources to train some battle generals. Therefore, Bai Yunxi did not want to miss this opportunity. This should be very important to Su Yan as well. Young mistress, do you mean that you want me to go as well? Su Yan asked. That's right. The Sky Bamboo Clan is an extremely powerful immortal sect. They have been passed down since ancient times and have a very strong foundation. Bai Yunxi nodded and said, if you join the Sky Bamboo Clan, it will be very beneficial for you. Although the Sky Bamboo Clan is not a sect, the clan's external forces have developed very quickly. I heard that because of the opening of the Emperor Road, the Sky Bamboo Clan has spent a lot to train a group of battle generals. I'll think about it. Su Yan was not in a hurry to agree. Bai Yunxi's expression was slightly gloomy. She stood up and forced a smile. Someone from the clan will definitely come in a few days. You should think about it quickly so that you won't hesitate. I'll take my leave first. Su Yan sent Bai Yunxi off and closed the door behind him. At the entrance of the secret palace. It's the middle of the night. Can't you sit still? Su Yan felt a headache coming on as he brought Bamboo Moon out of the spacetime artifact. 500 stalks of immortal supreme herbs. This is a good deal. If I join the Sky Bamboo Clan, I can also freeload some cultivation resources. I can also cultivate to the peak of the immortal realm as soon as possible. Su Yan smiled and changed the topic. Bamboo Moon glanced at Su Yan and said, she waited outside for a long time before leaving sadly. Don't you know how to send her off? What do you mean by sadly leaving? What nonsense are you talking about? Su Yan was shocked. I'm staring at you. Go meditate. Bamboo Moon sat down cross-legged and stared at Su Yan with her starry eyes. She looked serious, but Su Yan could not help but laugh out loud. Time flew by. In less than 10 days, 2 envoys from the Sky Bamboo Clan arrived at White Phoenix City. The Bai clan welcomed them with open arms. The 2 envoys were also very polite. Their eyes lit up when they saw Bai Yunxi. With their experience, they could naturally tell that Bai Yunxi was extraordinary. However, when they heard that it was not Bai Yunxi who triggered the monarch ranking, but a wild cultivator from another realm, the 2 envoys were moved. A cultivator from the void space-time universe. The Bamboo Origin Force was very curious. When he saw Su Yan, he scrutinized him carefully. Su Yan also displayed his strength. His chi and blood were vigorous, his foundation was solid, and his immortal energy was exuberant. The Bamboo Origin Force was very satisfied. There were very few people from the void space-time universe who could rely on themselves to tap into their immortal potential. They were as rare as phoenix feathers and qilin horns. The Bamboo Origin Force was overjoyed. He valued Su Yan even more. He laughed and said, "Little friend Xia, you're indeed extraordinary. No wonder you can trigger the monarch ranking. But it's a pity." "What's a pity?" Su Yan was puzzled. The Bamboo Origin Force smiled. "With your foundation, you'll definitely become a powerful expert in the future. Becoming an Overlord will not be a problem. That's why I said it's a pity. Now that the Emperor Road battle platform is over, you've lost a great opportunity to be reflected by the monarch ranking. Sigh, even I feel sorry for you. Didn't the outer elders of your Sky Bamboo branch reject me at the door? From what I can see, Elder, you want me to join the Sky Bamboo faction." Su Yan played dumb. Zhu Xiangming was so frightened that he almost fell to the ground. He was both shocked and furious. He did not expect Su Yan to stab him in the back. In short, Su Yan would not let Zhu Xiangming off easily. Zhu Xiangming had wasted so much of his time. If he did not teach Zhu Xiangming a lesson, wouldn't he be letting Zhu Xiangming off too easily? "What do you mean?" The Bamboo Origin Force's face suddenly darkened. He looked at Zhu Xiangming with a gloomy gaze. Zhu Xiangming was terrified. He stammered, I know a little about this." Bai Yunxi walked out and said, "Back then, Xia Kunlun was training in the blood path. He was chosen by the sovereign sect's experts and wanted to take him in." "What? The sovereign sect? The bamboo origin force was shocked. He was chosen by the sovereign sect. However, when he thought about how Su Yen was able to tap into the essence of life in a barren cultivation environment, he was not surprised. People like this were valued by immortal sections. They would definitely achieve great things in the future. Even the bamboo origin force had never imagined that he would encounter such a superb seedling. Once Xia Kunlun was fostered systematically, he believed that the future Xia Kunlun would absolutely be able to bring him many pleasant surprises. However, Xia Kunlun refused. He didn't know about immortal sections. Bai Yunxi said, in his rage, this expert told them that Su Yen had offended the sovereign sect. In the end, Zhu Xiangming refused to accept Su Yen. I noticed that Xia Kunlun's combat strength was extraordinary, so I brought him to the Bai clan to settle down. Bastard! The bamboo origin force roared like an old lion. Pooh! Zhu Xiangming spat out a large mouthful of blood as he was blasted flying, and his body was roared to the point it was on the verge of exploding. Even though he was an elder, he was merely an outer court elder and didn't possess a formidable combat strength at all. So, how could he endure the rage of the bamboo origin force? This bamboo origin force was an expert that had touched upon the path to immortality. Such people were called half-step true immortals. Zhu Xiangming was unable to endure the rage of a half-step true immortal. Coupled with the pressure from his status as an elder, he trembled. He said fearfully, I didn't know. You almost caused my clan to lose a general over such a trivial matter. Who gave you the courage? Zhu Yuanli rebuked angrily. Also, how could the sovereign sect order my heavenly bamboo clan? Men, take Zhu Xiangming down. I'll punish you when we return to the clan. Spare me, elder! Zhu Xiangming cried. Once he was taken into custody and returned to the clan, the lightest punishment would be to strip him of his position as an elder, and all his years of hard work would be for naught. Xia Kunlun, is this appropriate? Zhu Yuanli's gloomy expression dissipated, and he looked at Su Yen with a face full of smiles. Su Yen was slightly flattered. He stood up and said, This makes me slightly fearful. I come from a lowly background, and I really don't know much about immortal sections. Ha ha ha, Xia Kunlun, my clan treats everyone equally. If you break the law, you'll be punished. No one is an exception. Zhu Yuanli laughed. He was even more satisfied with Su Yen. What he wanted was a young man with a clean identity who had no foundation in the immortal heavenly region. Once he entered the heavenly bamboo clan, he would definitely become a capable general of their clan. The other emissary laughed as well. This was an unexpected gain. Xia Kunlun, my clan is in need of talents now. Zhu Yuanli stroked his beard and looked at Su Yen. With your talent, I guarantee that you will have a bright future on the path of immortality. Even if you have some accomplishments in the future, you won't want to stay in the heavenly bamboo clan. You can definitely dominate any continent. Senior, you want to bring me to the clan to cultivate? Su Yen asked even though he knew the answer. That's right. The resources are convenient. You and Bai Yunxi can both go. Zhu Yuanli said confidently. Other than some special resources, the immortal treasured herbs you receive every month are no less than 100. Of course, what are the immortal treasured herbs? They can't be compared to other special resources. The elders from the Bai clan were pleasantly surprised. The Heavenly Bamboo clan was really spending a lot of resources to nurture a group of young generals before the opening of the 10,000 races battlefield. It would be best if they could nurture a half-step immortal Dao realm expert. One had to know that the 10,000 races battlefield prohibited immortal Dao realm experts from entering, but experts who had touched the path of immortality could still enter. If you have any doubts, feel free to ask. Zhu Yuanli became more and more confident. He didn't believe that Xia Kunlun could sit still with such shocking temptation. Zhu Yuanli valued Xia Kunlun mainly because he didn't have any background or family. He could definitely work for the Heavenly Bamboo clan. This was what Zhu Yuanli valued the most. When Su Yan passed the test, he could be nurtured as a trusted aide. Senior, I would be unappreciative if I don't accept your kind invitation. Su Yan stood up and said respectfully, I will rely on elders' guidance in the future. Zhu Yuanli was full of smiles. He laughed loudly and said, Good, very good. Since you have all agreed, then it will be easy. Men. Zhu Yuanli waved his hand and 2 attendants walked over. He instructed, This old man still has a mission. I need to run to the other continents. You 2 take Xia Kunlun and Bai Yunxi to the Green Mountain continent. Yes, sir. I heard Lady Zhuyao is also in Green Mountain continent. Should we? One of the attendants asked, implying that they should let Zhu Yao meet them. Perhaps they could become capable subordinates by Zhu Yao's side. Zhu Yao? Su Yan's eyes buzzed as he suppressed the churning emotions in his heart. What, you know Zhu Yao? Zhu Yuanli was surprised. Su Yan said, I have heard of the influential figures of the immortal celestial realm. Zhu Yao is even more famous. Our clan's Zhu Yao is indeed extraordinary. She is currently working in Green Mountain continent. If we are fortunate enough to meet her, there might be a pleasant surprise. Zhu Yuanli laughed loudly. He could be considered Zhu Yao's elder. If Zhu Yao valued him, there was no harm in bringing him along. A pleasant surprise, let's hope so. Su Yan's tone was deep. Bai Yunxi glanced doubtfully at Su Yan. Did he really know Zhu Yao? Su Yan's heart was surging with waves. This was truly a case of traveling far and wide in search of something, only to find it by chance.